What is going on? Shout out to everybody hanging out right now. We got a freaking game. We got a game. File in, everyone. I'm trying to see the chat getting going right here. There's no way we're gonna have technical difficulties today. No way, no way, no way. But what's up? Shout out to everyone. Real winnable game here between the Raiders versus Commanders. We got just a few minutes here. And what I find the most interesting about this game, obviously, is the revenge aspect of Marcus Mariota. But I feel like both of these teams are in a very similar spot where it's a regime change happening. You're expecting a sort of quick turnaround here. And you also each have a mobile quarterback and a defense that I feel like doesn't have heavy investment on each side, but still has been able to perform above average, and that's kind of been the difference maker. I think when you look at both of these teams, and I think even this, let me not show you my freaking password here as I log into PFF. Even the Raiders, man, take a look at the Raiders, some of their numbers and stats, top 10 defensively, oddly enough, this year. I was completely shocked by that when I was taking a look a little bit earlier. So what's up, man? And by the way, you already know your boy is slightly hungover here. Slightly hungover. This is going to be tough right now, but we're going to truck through right now. The Raiders need to show their offense exactly. I mean, I feel like that's the biggest issue right now is this freaking offense. So today's going to be wild in the NFL. Marcus Mariota is starting. Tyrod Taylor is starting for the Jets. I forgot about that. Carson Wentz for the Vikings. No J.J. McCarthy, so that's going to be crazy. Jake Browning, obviously, with the Joe Burrow injury. And Mac Jones, who... Do people sleep on Mac Jones? I mean, I think he's always been pretty good. So Mac Jones for the Niners, obviously not as mobile as Brock Purdy, but definitely don't think that's going to be bad. Definitely don't think that's going to be bad. So we got this live stream going up like it. Wow. I don't know what happened. So last time we had a great amount of people and not too crazy, but we had like 500 all the time. Really died down right now. So I think it's because this game is early. Not too many people are even going to be watching it. You're probably going to have people watch the highlights, maybe do something else. So lack of interest in this game. Are Raiders fans calling it in? Because that's essentially what happens. Maybe some Raiders fans are giving up on the season after the L to the Chargers. Look, I thought the Raiders were expected to lose to the Chargers. I mean, I wasn't too upset about that. I mean, that's why I didn't even make a serious video about that. I thought about doing, but I got kind of busy with some other things. But to me, it was just like there wasn't much to talk about, I feel like. Chargers are good this year. Max Davis, shout out to you. What's your thoughts on putting Pickett in if Geno starts throwing picks again? Dude, I am not a guy, and I know there's a lot of people out there. I don't give up on the QB. And I'm also the type of guy where I think you got to stick with the dude like the whole year. Like you can't have this shit where a dude's always like breathing over his neck. Even Gardner Minshew, I feel like if Gardner Minshew just didn't have this... You know, for the Raiders, obviously it wasn't a good QB, but if he didn't have this threat of like, oh yeah, by the way, you're going to lose your job to Aiden O'Connell at any point, I think that makes things awkward for people. I think it makes them play with like they're more anxious, they panic more. I think that always goes downhill. So I'm never in support of actually even benching the QB in mid-year. I don't think that ever really turns out well. So I don't think you throw Kenny Pickett in. I don't think you need to do that. I think you roll with Geno Smith. I think the head coach is behind him. It's the head coach's guy. They've been involved with each other for several years. I think you got to go all in on that. My biggest concern, and I see people talking about Chip Kelly in the chat. My biggest concern right now, and this kind of echoes the same sentiment as the QB statements I'm making here. My biggest concern is this Brady shit. Tom Brady being really involved, and some people are going to say, oh, you just hate Tom Brady. Look, same thing with the QB. When you have if you're a quarterback and there's always a guy breathing down your neck, you're part of a team that switches people out nonstop, you're gonna play more anxious. You're not gonna be super confident. Like you could try to act confident all you want. You're not gonna play confident, and that's a nightmare. Same thing I think with coaching with our coordinators. Chip Kelly. I don't know how much of the game plan is Chip Kelly and how much of it is Tom Brady. After we saw Tom Brady in the owner's booth and we learned that he talks to the coaches weekly. I'm sorry, man. Let the coaches do their job. Let them do their job. Don't have this dude who had a good record as a QB. Don't let this dude just start coming over and fucking with the game plan and fucking with the strategy. I think people look past it just because he was a good quarterback, Tom Brady with a good record. But that doesn't mean that you know anything about coaching. That doesn't mean that you know anything about being an offensive coordinator. And I really don't like the fact that he's in the booth and talking to the coaches every week. And yeah, he's talking to the coaches every week, Tom Brady. His hands are all over this team. Well, we just got our fucking ass whooped by the Chargers. Is that Tom Brady's fault? Is anybody going to talk about that? Is that his fault? The freaking announcing team and the media team just freaking sucks his dick all day. They don't say anything about Tom Brady. And no criticisms, obviously. Well, we're getting our ass whooped. You're meeting with the coaches every week. Where was that thing at? Let me see that little. It was the viral sideline broadcast. Yeah. You're right here freaking towering over the coordinator, Chip Kelly, and all that. I'm like, dude, like, let the coaches coach. Let Pete Carroll do his thing. Let the GM do his thing. Like the owners usually just hire people to do the job, and then the best owners let them do the job. And then when shit gets out of hand, you fire them, find the next guy. But don't come in here and start managing everything, because now we can't even evaluate Chip Kelly. Now we can't even evaluate Pete Carroll. Are there just decisions being dictated by Tom Brady? Then you can't really criticize their decisions sometimes. People are critical of the Ashton Genty, like his workload. Is he being dragged in or rushed in? There's that. Is that Tom Brady's decision? I mean, we can't definitively say, I feel like. But we'll see what's going on here, man. Look, they did make some good decisions, I feel like. For and this is why I bring up the Raiders and Commanders being very similar. For a young team, I think they're doing really well right now, getting that opening week 1 win against the Patriots. Same thing with Commanders last year. They had some ups and downs, but they were an organization that turned it around in 1 year. I think the Raiders could be this year's Commanders. So they're walking out right now. You got Crosby walking out. We'll be doing some play-by-play and reaction. I got the game because I got Sunday tickets, so I would normally not have the game. I didn't even take a look at the coverage map. I could imagine that not many people are getting this this game. So Marcus Mariota getting the start. Ashton Genty's usage, you got people talking about it. Pete Carroll talking about it. He's still learning. And yeah, last week, Genty went the wrong way on a play. Which, look, that goes viral because it's one play. I think overall it wasn't a huge deal, but clearly shows the guy has a learning curve, though. Because you don't see that often. You really don't. But Genty being dragged along, still learning, probably going to get more carries second half of the season as opposed to the first. All right, let's see what else we got here. No Jaden Daniels. Marcus Mariota with a start. And then, I saw this. The Commanders benched their guard, and now they're having Andrew Wiley start. Game's going to be back on in about 3 minutes. We're finally going to get the start of the game. Okay, we got a little promo here. Let's take a look here. He's a rookie. Be patient, guys. Like the video. Shout out to everybody here, man. Like the live stream right now to get us going. Game's about to start right now. Got a good amount of people here. A record number of people here. And let me know your biggest concerns in the chat for the team ahead of the game. We'll see what happens. Obviously, we have concerns about Chip Kelly, offensive coordinator. Like I'm saying, the Brady influence. And Brady, is he broadcasting another game this week? So will he be there? Let me see. But that was the biggest news with the Raiders this week is the Brady shit. That was what you saw all over TV. Only way you can get the game. Don't worry, man. We'll be doing a breakdown of what's going on with the game, so you'll be able to hopefully understand what the game's going, you know, how it's going. And yeah, share the stream with your friends, guys. We'll try to give as many updates and highlights as we can. So we'll see what's going on here. Game's coming back on. Greedy Vance being advanced from the practice squad to the roster. I was curious about that too. I actually do think that was one of the positives of the Raiders is the secondary is, I mean, for that much investment, for very little money and draft pick investment, the secondary is doing really well. And the whole entire defense. That's what I was saying off the top, man. Top 10, maybe top 5 defense. Look, the Chargers should have won. They should have put up 35 points. With how bad the Raiders' offense was, whenever you throw 3 picks in a game, you got to expect to give up a shitload of points. But the fact that they held the Chargers to 20 points, I know the Chargers tried to run the clock out towards the end, but I mean, that was pretty good. I mean, I thought they were going to put 35 on the Raiders last week for sure once Geno started throwing picks. And I will say, Geno Smith's interceptions, first one was on coaching because the defense just knew the play. It wasn't like a bad throw, bad decision with the first pick that Geno threw. Then you had the lob it up kind of throw that ended up being basically a punt, and it was on, you know, a late down anyways where you're probably not going to punt the football. He was just kind of taking a shot. Oh shit, I got to get rid of this whole shot clock. So we did shots last time, but we are definitely not doing that this time. So you guys can see that I looked up Portland, or I looked up pawn shops. If you saw my screen right there, you would know that. All right, so commercial break right now. About to be back. We'll see what's going on here. So offense is the main issue. That's what everybody's concerned about. That's what makes you think maybe this can go south. And when you look at Marcus Mariota filling in last year for the Commanders, I thought he did a pretty good job. And I always thought that was a really good decision by the Raiders to have Mariota kind of be behind Derek Carr, where it's like, you know, we're not wasting a draft pick, but this guy could seriously compete and be like, he could be a starting quarterback. I feel like a Marcus Mariota, he just can't last the whole season. But in doses, he can be a starting quarterback. He's a good starting quarterback. So I guess a negative concern for us here today. Defense played well, but Geno squandered every opportunity. Yeah. Geno's first throw was not to triple coverage. It was the safety read the play exactly. That's why the first pick with Geno Smith was actually not that bad. Literally, it was the fact that the defense pretty much knew our offense. So I blame coaching there. All right, here we go. Game's coming on right now. Jaden Daniels on the sideline with the hoodie. Looks like it's raining out there in D.C. Appreciate you, Max Davis, though. Supporting the stream. Pants are on this one. The pants are on this stream, baby. All right, so Deebo Samuel, who everybody said was gaining weight, back at kick return. Looks like the guy was getting thick for some kick return here. We'll see what's going on with Deebo. Appreciate you, Jonathan. Brady backlash this whole past week. I'm in DC now. Deebo Samuel breaking free on kick return. No! And getting all the way to the red zone. So we just made fun of Deebo Samuel's weight, but the guy just busted off a big-time kick return to start the game. Special teams, man. A little bit of a block in the back they're getting away with, in my opinion, but that happens sometimes. Great move by Deebo Samuel, bouncing to the outside, making a big cut. Kind of that running back, those running back traits. Definitely helped out Deebo there. And he is gassed for this offensive drive. Deebo Samuel definitely on the sideline. Okay, so almost the red zone, 27-yard line, pistol formation for the Commanders. And a handoff up the middle. Krosky Merritt, who a lot of people in fantasy football after the first week, he had some decent yards. They picked him up. But Krosky Merritt didn't get that much in week 2. We'll see what happens this week. Oh, so they're talking about, yeah, Mariota after the Raiders. Competing with Desmond Ridder and Arthur Smith, head coach of the Falcons. Choosing Desmond Ridder essentially over Mariota. I think that was a huge mistake. And they should have gone with Mariota the whole year. They beat the Niners that year. The Falcons of Mariota in 2022. Raiders making a substitution. Thomas Booker, trade acquisition from the Eagles, going to the sideline. And Mariota hands it off again up the middle. And Rodriguez breaks free inside the Raiders 10. Raiders run defense downhill. I mean, I was stoked when the Falcons beat the Niners. So people say that I was like, you know, yo, you're more of a Derek Carr fan when he went to the Saints. I was rooting for Mariota in the Falcons until they benched him. I feel like they shouldn't have benched the guy. All right, 1st and goal now inside the 10. What headline? I got to update the headline. What happened? Handoff up the middle. Inside the 5. I do feel like I made some mistake with the stream, though. What is up, creamy one? No, it's fine. I feel like I made some mistake. All right, 2nd and goal now inside the 5. And a handoff. 3rd and goal with 3 yards to go. Raiders do not look like they're winning by 17 based on how this game's going. So 3rd and goal right now, knocking on the door of the end zone. Really not even a one throw by Mariota. It was a great kick return. So Raiders will have to respond on offense. And if it's a 3 and out, man, that's going to look bad. 3rd and goal right now for Mariota and the Commanders, dropping back to throw. First throw, he's going to QB draw, run it, and an easy touchdown. Raiders do not take an account for the QB draw. And I would just say the Raiders' energy on defense, they look like they are just not motivated to win this game. I don't think this is going to go well. You look at the Raiders' defense, man, there's just not fire. They're kind of just, especially the linebacker, Jermaine Pratt, safety, Polamalu. And, you know, last 2 weeks, I feel like the defense had fire, and I feel like the only way the Raiders win this game is because of their defense. And there definitely does seem to be a lack of energy there. So touchdown for Mariota with the Commanders. We'll see what's going on, man. If maybe this could be a week where the offense carries the team, but definitely a lack of juice. Maybe the kick return for almost a touchdown by Deebo Samuel was actually that defeating. Quick 7 points. Yeah. Woo. Well, I mean, it does seem like the Raiders this year, like against teams where they are the underdog, they are going to lose. And against teams that, it's kind of even where they're playing the Patriots, maybe they're playing the Dolphins or something like that. And shout out to Tech Noob. Giants fan, and we are definitely rooting for the Giants today going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Raiders, though, they seem like they're just going to lose to teams where they're not the favorite. And where it's kind of even, like the Patriots, they'll probably win those games. I mean, they were better than the Patriots week 1, clearly. You can see a noticeable difference. But, rough way to start today. My biggest hope, and now there's a lot of pressure on the Raiders offense on the opening drive. And hey, if the Raiders offense goes out there and scores a touchdown, that's gonna boost the defense finally and give them some more confidence. So maybe the defense is lacking a little bit of confidence based on the lackluster Raiders offense over the past few weeks. Marcus Mariota, he's not a turnover machine. Maybe I'm a Marcus Mariota fan, so that's why I'm actually scared of this game. I'm like, oh shit, he's coming. That game. So we got some people really confident in the Raiders in the chat. All right. That's great. But the same people who are always very confident in the team and just say, oh, they're for sure going to win for some reason, like never have any reservations. Those are the people. Those are the same people who always say, fire everyone after every loss. Without a doubt, the same people who always are like, fire the head coach, bench the QB. That's going to solve every issue in the middle of the season. I guess if you have a rookie QB, so talking about the Giants down below, if you got Jackson Dart in the background. Carroll speaking to the Raiders defensive sideline, bad kick return. That's really the main issue, though, when you think about it. The defense didn't give up many yards. And the kick return goes out of bounds. So the Raiders get a good field position of their own. Ball will be at the 40. Geno taking the field. And look, talking about the Giants. Giants have Jackson Dart, first round pick behind Russell Wilson. I think a QB change is inevitable. Look at the Raiders, though. They're all in on Geno Smith. No high draft pick behind him. So there really is no alternative here. Especially with Aiden O'Connell injured on injured reserve. 11:50, 40-yard line. And play action for Geno Smith. Gets it to a wide open Jacoby Myers. Blockers set up. And the Raiders have their own version of that Deebo Samuel type play in the red zone instantly after the good field position. And if you got fantasy football, if you're making some parlay picks, you gotta pick up Jacoby Myers. This guy, even in losses, gets the ball. That is true, Kenny Pickett, Going to the Raiders for a late round pick, that's a good backup plan if things ever goes completely south in terms of injury. 15-yard line, handoff up the middle now for Genty. Fantasy football owners definitely want this guy involved. Only a 2-yard gain. I am very calm today. I actually, the first 2 weeks, I have learned during these live streams, turn it up in the second half. But whenever I start yelling and shit in the first half, always lose my voice, and it super hurts. All right, 2nd and 9, 14-yard line. Geno Smith, another handoff to Genty, and that time stuffed. Even if the Raiders win today, fire everybody. Oh yeah, drop the emojis on the screen. If you should be working. Here we go. 3rd down now for Vegas. Dropping back, Geno Smith, pressure, gets the ball off, intended for Bowers, and it is batted incomplete. Bowers was not expecting the ball that early, and the Raiders at least get some points on the board after a hot Commanders kick return. And then you had a great play by Jakobi Meyers. I don't ever like to talk trash on players, but when I saw the Giants are still starting Jermaine Illuminor at tackle, he's just not like a, like a franchise left tackle. I mean, I think he's still serviceable, but you know what I mean? Like, whoa. All right, field goal attempt, but a timeout. Is that by the Commanders? Flag. Oh, shit. Delay a game on the Raiders. That's going to be a little harder field goal attempt. So something that you thought was going to be easy chip shot, a little more difficult. So, emoji is still not working out here, huh? Let's see what's going on here. All right, field goal attempt. Still good. Still good for Daniel Carlson. So Raiders get some points on the board. That's good to see. Good to see. Points on the board. And the emojis are back. That's what we're solving. The emojis are back. I desperately need some food though. I definitely need to order some Mexican. Well, we're having Mexican food, man. Mexican food. What who are the top Mexican players that the Raiders have? That's why I wanted the Raiders to draft Dylan Gabriel, even though he's Hawaiian, kind of a Mexican last name, and I just feel like the Raiders fan base would go insane if they had Dylan Gabriel. There'd be so many Gabriel jerseys. So people are beefing in the chat. Check out the chat, guys, if you're watching this, just an onlooker. People are beefing. They're going at each other's weight. Whew, that's always a low blow. Come on, man. Everybody's sexy in here. So we'll see what happens here, man. Could the Raiders defense get a stop here? Shout out to Max Davis. Sending some love support in the stream. We have to get our offense going. I want to see Genty going so we can set up Myers downfield. He's been quiet lately. He's a great receiver. We need to get him going. Fortunately, on that drive, you had that big reception to Myers. Still only about like 15 yards, though. I kind of know what you're saying. I think the big issue is Brock Bowers going to him on that critical 3rd down in the red zone. Kind of feel like maybe he's still pretty hurt, not as dynamic. I think he would usually get that touchdown. Was looking for the ball a little late. I don't know. At least in the last game against the Chargers, he definitely looked hurt and didn't make as many plays. So going to be limiting, but I think it all starts with Genty. You saw the few runs on that drive once the Raiders got into the red zone after the big Jakobi Meyers play, and 2 yards, 3 yards, they're still trying. but I just feel like the run blocking, and I also don't like the type of runs they're doing with Genty. Like he's just going to be in the shotgun, and then you just do an inside zone run. Like I don't know. I like getting a fullback. Call me like old or whatever. Like maybe you're a boomer now if you're into like fullbacks, but if a running back has a fullback and has that time to kind of get momentum and go to the offensive line and then see the field a little bit more, I think they're going to have more luck running the football. So hopefully they do that. I haven't seen that happening this year so far. Didn't see it much in preseason either. A lot of runs out of the shotgun, which I don't think that's going to work out immediately for Genty. So kick off right now. Deebo Samuel had a big kick return. We'll see what happens this time. He's wrapped up at the 30-yard line, luckily. Yeah, dude, why don't people like the fullback? Last time when I wore a hat, the Raiders started sucking, so I'm not wearing any hats this week. Marcus Mariota, here we go. Rushing touchdown last drive. Hasn't thrown a pick as a Commander. 29-yard line. Mariota in the shotgun. Couple tight ends here. And a handoff up the middle to Rodriguez. Austin Eckler actually went on IR last week. I forgot. He got really, really injured. I believe it was against the Packers. Coffee this morning, no alcohol. Got a little turned up last night, guys. But we're back to full health. Wasn't too crazy. Just normal Saturday night things. Because I had a feeling this game would be... I don't like the 10 a.m. games. We always have less people doing the 10 a.m. games. 2nd and 6 right now. Dropping back. And a quick throw to McLaurin for a first down. Raiders gave him a little too much room there, a little soft coverage, I feel like, on McLaurin, but you don't want to take too many risks with him. Appreciate you, Max Davis, so much. 42-yard line and a handoff to Deebo Samuel, who breaks free. And the Raiders defense on their heels, they give up an 8-yard gain. What a unique kind of Deebo Samuel run. Appreciate you, George Reyna, as well. Opinions on the starting offensive line. Look, Jordan Meredith starting at center and Jackson Powers Johnson not being the center. That was a controversial move in training camp, and we haven't seen it lead to a benefit. Now, maybe it would be way worse if JPJ was the center. I don't know. You know, there's no way for us to know this not watching practice. 2nd and 1 and a handoff up the middle. Actually, a Mariota keeper on the read option and a fumble by Mariota on the read option. And the Raiders pick it up, and they are now getting the football. What looked like a dominant up our ass Mariota run that was going to completely fuck us. He was really about to do a 20-yard run on that read option. He jumped over a safety. Then the ball is punched out by Thomas Booker, punched it out, the former Philadelphia Eagle who was acquired in the trade for Jacorian Bennett after the Christian Wilkins disaster. Wow, that was huge, and the Raiders recover, and now they get the football at the 25-yard line. Thomas Booker, dude, that dude's actually starting to show up, and you had some Eagles fans, Eagles players, be frustrated that they moved on from Thomas Booker, and maybe the Raiders found something. This is a guy who never really had that many stats, eye-popping stats. He's good against the run, but now he's making plays out there in Las Vegas. We'll see if we can find a little clip here. We'll see what's going on. So let me make sure I load up the audio so I don't miss shit when the game is back on. All right. Come on, Raiders, post this shit. Oh, Bryce Young got a touchdown. Okay. So Bryce Young scrambled for a touchdown here. Kenneth Gainwell, for the Steelers. Dude, we got to ban the tush push. This is like automatic every single time. It pissed me off. Come on, bro. We got to play the Raiders highlight, bro. They just got a turnover. Big time. All right. Once it's up, we'll play it off. But so Raiders offense could get the lead with a touchdown right now. What was looking rough, man, and you had them show the Deebo Samuel big time kick return. That really screwed the team early on, but now the Raiders get a play of their own. All right, let's see what's up. Oh, I know it's all right. So they're not posting it yet. All right. All right, game's coming back on. But getting a turnover, good play by the defense, keeping us in the game. Shout out to Thomas Booker. Shout out to Polamal getting in the way there. And on offense, very quickly, the Raiders get sacked. Geno Smith with no time to throw. I mean, look, I got to say play action. Geno steps up, about to make a throw, and there's already somebody in his face. We gotta protect the quarterback, man. All right, 2nd and 13 after the sack. Jack Besh in the game right now. And here we go, a handoff to Genty. 2 yards, and the Raiders are at their own 21-yard line. Now you got a 3rd and 10. Not taking advantage of the opportunity here, unfortunately. But it all starts with the sack, man. Not really much you can say about the play calling there, the quarterback play on the first sack. Renfro made some plays. You know what? I'm gonna play some of the other games on the other over here. All right, 3rd and 12. All right, here we go. Myers moving. Geno stepping up and dumps it off to Bowers, and he's not going to get a first down. All right, and that is going to be a punt by the Raiders. Very disappointed, not taking advantage of these big-time opportunities. And it's not every day you get a fumble. Right? A fumble recovery of that magnitude. Pete Carroll a little upset, a little disappointed. Look, somebody's got to be upset, right? Yeah, that's not good, man. Yeah. I'm very disappointed in the team. Minimize some things. Let's see what's going on here. All right, so good takeaway by the Raiders, but nothing coming of it. I'm not going to celebrate that. I can't. I can't celebrate bad football. That was very disappointing. I cannot lie like that, guys. You guys know me. That is not going to happen. We have got to. We've got to get it like a first down. I'm not even trying to score at this point for the Raiders offense. Can we just get a first down? Can we just move forward for like a couple seconds? That would be great. Shout out to Max Davis. And doesn't matter how many turnovers we get. If we can't protect our quarterback long enough for him to get the ball, we're screwed. And I don't even think Geno Smith is clearly going a little deep on that play action, but you expect to have 3 seconds on play action. Son of a bitch. And look, I would love for it to be as easy as like, oh, the quarterback's making mistakes, but nobody, Josh Allen wouldn't be able to do shit with that. Play action, you step up and you're instantly sacked. I mean, what are you really supposed to do there? So huge issue, very concerned. Appreciate you, Max Davis. And now the best the Raiders could hope for is that the defense steps up again, but you're putting a lot of pressure on your defense now at this point. I mean, they got you a turnover. This is already becoming one of those games where we're not going to be able to blame the defense at all. And it's going to be one of those games where even if they give up points in the second half, you'll always be able to say, well, they got you a turnover. They stayed a little strong. Well, I mean, they gave them a touchdown after the big kick return, but they got you a turnover. They're probably going to force some punts here, but we'll see what happens. Ivan, we need to change this O-line already. They can't protect, and it's a good point where we don't know, as we're on commercial break here, if the issue is the fact that we switched up the center. Maybe that was not a good decision. Probably not. We don't know. Because we haven't gotten a chance to see Jackson Powers-Johnson as center. I know he was injured last week with concussion. I believe he's back in the lineup this week, though. Here we go, Mariota with the football. This is without Jaden Daniels, too. Handoff up the middle to Krosky Merritt. Flag on the play. Looks like it's going to be a holding. Yeah, Tom Brady. I think if Tom Brady's running the team, he's too used to the refs allowing the O-line to freaking hold and rig it for him all the time. He doesn't realize that, when you're not getting away with Spygate, you're going to have a pretty good offensive line to compete in the NFL. Check out the Philadelphia Eagles. But a hold here, though, against the Commanders. Appreciate you, George Arena. These 10 a.m. games are definitely rough. Play action for Mariota. And tipped it, almost intercepted behind Deebo Samuel. And the Raiders defense now has a 2nd and 20. Holding the Commanders very well. Great job here. And right when things start to look bad, we're getting some positive plays from this defense. We'll see what happens here. 2nd and 20 now. Appreciate you, George. Appreciate you, Max Davis. Let them know what you guys think, man. Are these guys on the right path here? 2nd and 20. Deebo swing pass, and he gets some yards, but takes a big-time hit from Isaiah. Pull him out, and are they flagging that? Actually, that was... Oh, how are they going to flag that hit by pull him out? He just makes a big hit. He did not target. Oh, helmet to helmet, though, did happen 100%. Unnecessary roughness. Commanders get an automatic first down after a helmet to helmet by Isaiah pull him out, but I thought it was a great play by him. Now a helmet to helmet. What was going to be 3rd and 10 is now 1st and 10 for the Commanders. Wow. Well, helmet to helmet, if it would have happened on a Raider, you'd want the flag too, so it happens. 38-yard line for the Commanders. And a quick RPO bubble screen to Deebo, who's tackled very quickly. Only about a yard gain. Appreciate all the people joining right now. We got a 2nd and 8. Some injuries for the Commanders, not only obviously Jaden Daniels, but Noah Brown, number 3 receiver. Big injury for them. Didn't see Trey Tucker out for the Raiders in the lineup. 2nd and 8 here. And play action. Mariota has time, gets the ball off, and a first down to Terry McLaurin. Easy completion. That's not great for the Raiders here. Fresh set of downs for the Commanders. And Mariota keeps it on the outside, even though he fumbled, gets a first down on the read option. And the Commanders' offense is performing at a higher level than the Raiders' offense right now, despite the fact that they have a backup quarterback. Now, he's been in year 2 in this system. But unfortunately, this is what happening. So, interesting formation. 2 running backs, one of them a tight end in the shotgun, the backfield for the Commanders. And that's a fresh set of downs. You got JPJ on the sideline watching this. 1st and 10 now at the 37-yard line of the Raiders. Exactly. Helmet to helmet. Can't argue with that. It's a flag. Play action and a quick completion. This time to Moore. And the Raiders coordinators sweating in the box. Another first down for the Commanders. Yeah. This is a hurry-up offense. Why isn't Chip Kelly running a hurry-up offense? I mean, what the fuck? What are we doing, bro? Appreciate Max Davis earlier. Appreciate Ivan and George Reyna as well. 1st and 10, 2:15 to go. And play action, and Max Crosby gets some pressure and throwing it away, Mariota. And the two of them have a little chat, former teammates here. Whew. So around the NFL, you got a 0-0 with the Packers and the Browns. 3-7 Rams versus Eagles. I would say Rams versus Eagles is the biggest game happening right now. Rams losing against the Eagles with the ball. Same score that we got over here. Actually, Devontae just got a touchdown and the Rams got the lead. And I started Devontae Adams in my fantasy league, so great for me. There we go, Devontae. 3-7 here, and now a timeout by the Commanders on 2nd and 10. All right, so timeout now. Commanders took it. Look, we always get into when the team is doing well, and then you get into football when it's a losing season. I mean, I think last year was so bad that a lot of people checked out and are still coming back. Because last year was like, I mean, you could blame AP, you could blame the QB, like whatever. It was one of the worst seasons I've watched in a long time. Last year, it was just painful, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens, though. You got Pete Carroll arguing with the officials. So Crosby getting a warning and the intentional grounding. So Pete Carroll's arguing that was not intentional grounding. That was actually a fumble when Mariota threw it away after the pressure from Crosby. 2nd and 10, though, regardless. And they're going to move forward. All right, red zone for the Commanders. They're in the red zone. Debo in motion, 4-man rush, and dumping it off to the running back, Merritt, who is wrapped up after 6 yards, though. Pete Carroll frustrated. I mean, if you hold them 3rd and 5 right now, Jamal Adams coming out of the game here. If you hold the Commanders to 3 points, I mean, I would say that's a huge victory here, especially with the big plays from Mariota earlier. Good field position. You got to hold them to 3 here, and then we essentially, in order for this to work out, we need this offense to get going. It looks like an offsides by the Raiders and a free play by the Commanders, who drop it by Lane, the receiver, the young rookie against Eric Stokes, dropping it. No offsides called on the Raiders. It looked like offsides. One-on-one, Eric Stokes holds his own, and it looks like the Raiders got to stop, and they're forcing a freaking field goal. It looked like an offsides on Adam Butler, but they didn't call it. You got Commanders fans upset. This field goal game is why I have Daniel Carlson in my fantasy football too. So the field goal attempt is, what is he, wide right? The kicker missed an easy 43-yard field goal. Oh my God. Commanders miss it. And his last name is Gay. That makes it even worse. Oh my God. The Commanders kicker missed that shit. Bro. So, hey, defense makes a stop and holds them not only to a field goal, but it's a miss, so they give up no points. And last drive, the defense caused a fumble and a turnover. Yeah, the kick was gay, exactly. I mean, the jokes write themselves, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with being gay, but you know what I mean? When you got Willie Gay, who used to be on the Chiefs, I used to always laugh and say he's my favorite player. As Wi-Fi Willie over here. Yeah, man. Offense. If the offense doesn't score here, whew, Chip. By the way, do you know? I know Brady's breathing down the neck of Chip Kelly all the time. Chip Kelly, highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL. Highest paid. Literally makes the most money out of every offensive coordinator in the NFL. So this dude really has to step up. You got Cliff Kingsbury, former Texas Tech, and obviously former Cardinals head coach, as the offensive coordinator of the Commanders. He's highly paid, but Chip Kelly's making even more than him, and I think Kingsbury's doing a great job. I think they did a great job on that past drive. A couple big plays by Crosby, and honestly, the fact that the refs did not call that offsides really did benefit the Raiders there. And obviously it was a good pass breakup by Eric Stokes, but Raiders are getting some things to bounce their way, you know, getting some good flags and getting some luck there. You had a big time drop in the end zone by a Commanders receiver. So you're not always going to get luck. The offense really needs to step up right here, right now. Definitely. Around the NFL, Steelers beating the Patriots. Tough matchup between the Colts, the Titans. This will really prove if the Colts are a big-time team with Daniel Jones leading them to 3 scores against the Titans, which is a pretty good defense. Now you got the game coming back on. See what happens here. People always say to close the bathroom door, but I'm leaving it now. So 4th and 5, or 1st and 10. So they had 4th and 5 on the TV for some reason. Geno Smith with the football at the 27-yard line. Genty in the backfield and a handoff. They got to get Genty going. Wow, does Chip Kelly have a parlay on Genty or what? They keep running the football with this guy and he's going nowhere. No gain for the Raiders, man. We're going to need to block a little bit. We're going to need to actually set up do the play action to open up the run, maybe. All right, man. Less than 50 yards for the Raiders on offense, man. It's 2nd and 10 already. You gotta get some first downs to let this defense rest. 40 seconds to go in the first quarter. Geno, play action and pressure in his face, and he gets rid of it. And incomplete. And now the Raiders have a 3rd and 10, and I am very glad that I benched Geno Smith off my fantasy football team ahead of this game. Very glad. This is a disaster on offense. 3rd and 10, somebody has to make a play. Somebody has to block for the Raiders. There has to be somebody who could do it on the team. 3rd and 10, 2 and 4 for Geno Smith so far. One big play to Myers. That was pretty much it. In a 4-man rush, and Geno has time this time. And nearly intercepted. Intended for Dante Thornton in double coverage. Geno had a little bit coming for him. Almost a strip, and I think that created a rush throw or maybe a little off-platform throw for Geno. But the play to Dante Thornton wasn't there regardless. Even if Geno would have had a clean pocket, you'd never want to make that throw. And I think Raiders fans need to pump the brake on Dante Thornton. You can't just be tall and fast. There is more skills out there for an NFL wide receiver than just being big and fast and running a big 40 time. Good 40 time. Pump the brakes on this guy, man. 4th and 10 punt. After great plays by this defense, this Raiders offense cannot even get a first down, and a punt return goes to Raiders territory. At the 42-yard line, there's a flag, though. Oh, shit. And Michael Mayer is injured, and it looks like a back issue. This is not good, man. 2nd-round pick tight end Michael Mayer, who's done a great job this season filling in when he needs to for Bowers and also making some plays of his own. And wow, Darian Porter traumatized watching this. Michael Mayer lowered his helmet and fell a little rough. You actually, other than a concussion, you can't tell what it is, but pull him out. And they're bringing the card out for Michael Mayer. What the fuck is going on, dude? Pray for the man. The card's coming out, and I originally thought it was like a back issue, but after watching the replay, I don't see the back move that much. But he's got to. Pete Carroll checking in on this man, and pray for Michael Mayer because the guy is down and the card's coming out. When you look at the replay, he lowers with his helmet, leads with his helmet, and it hits the hip of the defender. And you don't really see anything bend. Michael Mayer is standing. Michael Mayer is standing. He's being helped, though. So it looks like it's not a back issue, luckily. Or a neck injury. What's going on, dude? He is kind of looking out for his back, though. Maybe a hip. Oh, fuck. So out of Notre Dame, obviously 2nd-round pick right before Bowers. What's going on, dude? To me, though, man, he's still standing. He's walking with limited assistance from the trainers. I say ride the cart, though, man. I mean, I know you want to send a message that you're okay, but let's just be safe and ride the cart. 28-yard line for the Commanders on 1st and 10 after that at that punt. And Deebo Samuel getting about a 4-yard gain tackled on a run. I like me some Scott Warner. And a little injury here for the Commanders, too, with their tight end getting shaken up. A lot of tight ends going down right now. Into the first quarter. And good news for the Commanders defensively. And I really don't like what the Raiders are doing on offense, man. It's just play action, immediately get rid of the football. I don't know if the QB Geno just doesn't have time to even make reads. That could be an issue. But I really don't like the Raiders offense. I mean, I could really fairly say I'm not really happy with any of it. Really wasn't happy with it in the Patriots game. I think the Raiders should have put up more points in that week 1 game against the Patriots. You put up 20 points against a bad team, and really it was kind of like, it was a lot of just like play action, crossing routes, play action, in routes, and Myers happens to be open. Like, cool. Really wasn't that impressive to me. It really wasn't that creative. And I think we're seeing the better offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury, help lead his team to a lead, almost a victory. Patriots continue to crumble. They are losing to the Steelers 14-0, and I say that because that's the Raiders' 1 win. So it'd be one thing if I saw the Patriots putting up a fight against the Steelers, then you can hang your hat like, hey, maybe this Raiders team had some good success on offense. I will say the defense is objectively doing well. They did last year against the last week against the Chargers. They're doing well right now. The defense is objectively, I think, doing well. I don't think you could argue otherwise with how bad this offense is. And the defense, they don't really have high draft picks and highly paid players. Yeah, you got Max Crosby. Jeremy Chin was pretty cheap at safety. You had a 3rd-round pick at corner who's not even starting, and a bunch of like free agent vets on 1-year contracts on defense. That's pretty cheap defense. I mean, you would want your offense to be doing well because that's where the draft. You got the 1st-round pick, you got the highly paid quarterback, you got a well-paid O-line, 1st-round pick tight end, 2nd-round pick tight end. We'll see what's happening with Michael Mayer. 2nd and 6 here. Raiders defense could keep the command or keep him in the game against these Commanders. 2nd and 6 here. Play action, pressure, blitz. Mariota gets the ball off in time, though, and a completion to the tight end, Zach Ertz. Raiders territory now at the 47. And the defense can only do so much. And keep falling for this play action by the Commanders, and it's play action out of the shotgun. I feel like it's not really sincere. Don't think the Raiders should be falling for it like this, man, on defense, but look, they've held them to 7 points and got a turnover and a missed field goal so far. So 49-yard line and handoff. And powering a 9-yard gain by the running back, Krosky Merritt. Kind of the runs that you were expecting Ginty to do. You're seeing with Krosky Merritt. These kind of up the middle runs where he just wills his way forward. He had definitely more of a hole than Ginty's had in this game so far. But, the Commanders look like they're at least going to come away with 3 on this drive. And I don't want to be blaming the defense here, though. The touchdown they gave up was horrible field position on the Deebo Samuel kick return. Really, I don't think they've done anything wrong here. Now, handoff up the middle and slipping ahead, Krosky Merritt. After it looked like the Raiders had him in the backfield, and now a big-time run for a fresh set of downs for the Commanders. So the biggest issue I see with Geno Smith is throwing into double, triple coverage. And I feel like he doesn't have many options in his reads because it seems like he just does it because there's nothing else for him, no other option available. So I don't know how much control Geno Smith has here. Handoff up the middle, 4-yard gain. Unless he does and he is just straight up forcing it. But I just find that hard to believe, him being a veteran, him not really doing that outside of the red zone in the past. Yeah, Gino says that's why I get paid the big bucks. We'll see how much freedom he has here in his reads, though, because I'm seeing this guy like one thing about Geno Smith is I'm seeing him only look at one receiver the whole time. So I don't know if they're just making him do these like kind of one read plays. Here we go, though. 2nd and 6. Mariota with time to throw, scrambling, running up the middle, flag. He gets the first down. We'll see what the flag is. Ooh, holding on the offense. Now going to be 2nd and 16. So interesting news around the NFL. Rams are knocking on the door against the Eagles, about to go up 17-7, at least 13-7. And it's officially 17-7. Rams with a 2-possession lead against the powerful Philadelphia Eagles. Rams might be the NFC contender here. 2nd and 16 now. All right, in the handoff to Rodriguez, about a 3-yard, 4-yard gain. Going to be 3rd and 12. 3rd and 12 for the Commanders now. Raiders defense could make a stop here. Keep them out of field goal range. Well, it looks like they're taking that touchdown back for the Rams. But we got the red zone on here while we're watching this game. Couple screens here. Jalen Carter. Or as some people say, Stacey Abrams. 3rd and 12, a flag here on the Raiders on 3rd and 12. Actually, no, on the Commanders. False start, going to be 3rd and 17. 3rd and 17. We got some oh wow, we got so many bots. All right, here we go. 3rd and 17. 41-yard line. So out of field goal range, I would say right now. Mariota loading up and pressure, getting rid of it. Check down to the tight end. That goes for about 10 yards. Going to be 4th and 7. Now at the 35-ish yard line. Let's see what we got here. I do believe they're going to attempt a field goal. Yeah, they're in field goal range now. Fourth and 6, field goal attempt. Gentleman missed it earlier. Last name Gay missed it in the 37-yard line. He missed it. Son of a bitch. This is a 46, and he makes it. He makes it. All right. 1 possession game still. 1 possession game still. You hold him to a field goal. Great stuff. Yeah, could have easily been a two possession game. I would say that's a success for the Raiders right there. And now pressure back on the offense. Just get a first down. Let's just get a first down. I am at the point where I would celebrate a first down. I would literally start cheering if we finally got 10 yards over the course of 3 downs. Ooh, so it's a head injury for Michael Mayer. We wondered if it was back. Head injury. Wow. You know, I was concerned when you saw the players look a little serious there. Very concerning, man. But head injury for Mayer. Rams get a field goal against the Eagles right now. Checking out some scores around the NFL. Vikings with a 2-possession lead with Carson Wentz starting at QB. The Vikings got a 2-touchdown lead against the Bengals and Jake Browning. No Joe Burrow in that game. The Colts laying it on the Titans. And the Jags beating C.J. Stroud and the Texans. The new Texans with C.J. Stroud. That is a big drop-off, and I love those C.J. Stroud memes. Where's the yes. C.J. Stroud. This is great. C.J. Stroud since giving Caleb Williams advice. The new C.J. Stroud. Just this random dude with his jersey. Love it. Absolutely hilarious. Panthers with the lead against Michael Penix Jr. and the Falcons are lacking here. Great performance last week against the Vikings. I thought the Falcons did a great job. I thought their defense did a great job, but they're falling off here. Packers, which look like the best team in the NFL since grabbing Micah Parsons, barely leading against the Browns. And the game is back on. We'll turn our attention back to this game as the kickoff ensues. Oh, wow. And a botched kick return. Luckily, a touchback here. A little bit of confusion here. Michael Penix Jr.? Somebody called him that, and he like went up to them in the stands. Michael Penix, he got like pissed off. So the quarterback and running back, that is this offense not going when you don't have a great offensive line. And I would say that's the story of the Raiders offense, man. Bad O-line. And you got Geno getting a little vocal against his squad, which we need some leadership here, man. 1st and 10. I like to see the fire from Geno in this dire situation, down 7. And a handoff to Genty, who is going to get 2 yards max. Oh, this O-line needs, you know what? That's why you got to spend money, man. Commanders invested in their O-line. You saw when the Texans were doing well, they had a lot of investment in their O-line. And the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh, heavy investment in the O-line. Here we go, 2nd and 7. They're going to give him 3. I think it's more like 2nd and 8, but we'll see. Dropping back. Geno to throw. Has time. Scrambles to the right. Throws on the run. And maybe a completion from Myers. Yes. Going to be about an 8-yarder. Actually, maybe a 6-yarder. Now 3rd and 1. 3rd and 1. Come on, you know what? Do I got to do this? Do we have mods? I guess we don't. I'll make somebody a mod because it's hard for me to control. All right, 3rd and 1. Challenge flag. Something's happening right now. So Commanders are challenging the ruling. I think they believe it's an incompletion by Jacoby Myers on the sideline with the catch. I did think it was very close to the sideline. We'll see the replay here. Oh, they're not showing the feet. I do believe he caught that in bounds. Well, at least we putting up a fight. We're on offense. I think the Raiders are going to win this in this challenge dispute here. I think the Raiders are going to come out on top. I do believe it was a catch and bounds, and it'll be 3rd and 1. But even if not, it's going to be 3rd and 10. It'll be a pass-only situation, an O-line that's been shaky. You saw Geno getting vocal with the O-line. And it's good to get vocal. But if you're the kind of guy who you get vocal and then you start fucking up, that's when people get pissed off. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But Gino definitely was not allowed to get vocal last week with the three interceptions. But got to run the ball, man, and you need an O-line that can block to do it. But Brady has his hands all over this team. He's supposed to be a genius because he happened to be the QB under Belichick in the Patriots' glory years. He's supposed to know everything because he played quarterback on a good team back in the day with a great defense. But that's who's making the decisions to not pay offensive linemen. I think he's a little too used to the his O-line in the New England day getting away with holding that he forgot that you need to invest in an O-line to have a good football team. Yeah. The guy who is good under Belichick, I mean, yeah, he's calling the shots. I mean, can you really freaking believe it? So Panthers with a 10-point lead over the Falcons and the Browns hanging in against the Packers, and the Packers are looking like the best team in the NFL these past 2 weeks. Don't see Josh Jacobs in the game. Wondering what's going on there. I got Jacobs in fantasy. What the hell is going on here? But the Raiders game is coming back on. We'll see who wins the challenge in a second. And they're going to say, stays a catch. 3rd and 1 for the Raiders. It stays a catch. So the Commanders lose a challenge, lose a timeout there. 29-yard line, 3rd and 1 for the Raiders. And they're in the shotgun on 3rd and 1. Genty in motion. Now the defense knows we're passing. Oh, no, Genty coming back after being in motion. Crowding the line of scrimmage. Dropping back. Gino pressure, scrambles to the right. Throws it on the run and gets a completion to Trey Tucker for about 20 yards, maybe 15. And this is the second biggest offensive play for the Raiders of the day. He had a big completion to Myers, now a big completion to Tucker. And if I was doing some parlay picks, if I was doing some fantasy football in a deep league where it's about 14 users, I'm picking up Trey Tucker, dude. I mean, he's going to be available, and he's great. 47-yard line for the Raiders and a handoff. And Genty finally has some room, lowers the shoulder, and trucks the defender. Exactly what was advertised when he has some blocking and a first down for the Raiders. And this looks like a Raiders team that's going to get in some good field position and score this drive. We'll see how they do once they get close to the red zone. And the Raiders got 2 first downs. Son of a bitch. I feel like we're going to the Super Bowl now. We got to finally, this offense gets a couple first downs, but now they got to close it out 37-yard line. Commanders territory, another handoff, and it goes for no gain to Genty. All the fantasy football Genty owners are like, yes, please keep giving him the football. So, look, even though people don't want to hear this, I think if it comes down to it, if it's 4th and 5, you kick the field goal. We got to get some points. It looks like it's going to be a low-scoring game. 36-yard line, 2nd and 9. And Gino to Brock Bowers on a flat. And Bowers breaks the tackle. Flag on the play, though. Could be 3rd and 1. We'll see what they do after the flag. Maybe the Geno Smith pep talk actually worked. All right, let's see what's going on here. They're still talking with the flag and all that. Bowers, though, man, great job. Oh, it's going to be against the Raiders, so that big effort by Bowers is coming back. It was an RPO, so they got an ineligible man down the field. Means you can't block past 1 yard forward on a passing play. I always feel like the Chiefs used to get away with that. This year, they're finally not letting them get away with that, but I do think an eligible man downfield, the Chiefs would usually get that. Raiders definitely violate that, but I do see other teams violate that often. Big plays coming back, and Geno Smith is frustrated. You got to be careful if you're an offensive lineman on that play. Make sure you don't block down the field on that passing play. But here we go. 2nd and 14. 41-yard line. Got to get in field goal range. We need at least, I would say, 7 yards to be in safe field goal range. 2nd and 14. And play action. Geno's got some time. Gets rid of the football and a completion to Trey Tucker. Trey Tucker with the first down. Probably about almost 20 yards there. At least more than 15. I would say about 17 yards for Trey Tucker and a first down. And this guy's been on fire this drive. Good inside move. Commanders in zone coverage there. Finds the soft spot. So now, Raiders in the red zone. Let's see how this red zone offense could do at the 24-yard line. And a handoff. Geno trying to get in the way and get a block, and Genty gets a first down. There should be a face mask there, but they don't call it. But Genty gets a first down on that stretch run. Good job by Geno Smith. Just getting in the way, blocking. Just fighting for this team. I mean, you got to root for Geno Smith, dude. He literally gets knocked by a D tackle. He tries to block here. We got to get a Geno Smith emoji after that play. 1st and 10. 14-yard line now. Raiders got to close this out. Jack Besh in the backfield. Handoff to Genty. I do like getting Jack Besh involved with the blocking here. Evaluating Michael Mayer right now. You got Ian Thomas, the former Panther, filling in as backup tight end. Not going to lie, I've always really liked that guy. I've always thought he's had a lot of potential. Glad to have him on the Raiders team. 2nd and 7, 10-yard line. Dropping back, 4-man rush. Geno has time. Now going to roll to his right a little bit. It gets a completion to Trey Tucker for a touchdown. And the Raiders tie the game. Red zone touchdown. You thought it was going to be a drive that stalls for a field goal. A little too good to be true. But Geno Smith and Trey Tucker stealing the show on this drive. Genty able to finally get going, get a couple first downs running the football. But you gotta just really appreciate Trey Tucker, a different regime, not the regime that drafted him. A lot of people thought this guy was going to be on the back burner this year with all the draft picks. The Raiders have a wide receiver, but Trey Tucker being that dude, and Geno delivering the football, hanging in the pocket where wasn't pressure, but there was some shit going around where I thought Geno might at least got an arm on him. Disrupted, not sacked, but disrupted. But he makes a couple moves to the right side and delivers a great ball to Tucker. And Jack Besh celebrating with Tucker. I mean, the game is turning around right now. And remember, the Raiders get the ball at the top of the third quarter. So you got about 4 minutes left. We'll see what the Commanders do. This will be their last drive of the game. I mean, ideally, if you can get a 3 and out, if you can actually get them off, right? Get them off after a one first down. Get a 2-minute drive going before the half, and then you get the ball at the top of the third quarter. Raiders are in a good spot here. You'd much rather have the Commanders with this amount of time on the clock. And the defense really hasn't done bad all game. You gave up 1 field goal. I'm not going to blame the defense on that first touchdown because literally the Commanders are instantly in the red zone with the Deebo Samuel kick return. So, I mean, there's a high probability the Raiders force a punt here based on literally just how this game's gone alone. So, like we were saying earlier, defense keeping the Raiders in this game. And finally, this is what we've been waiting for. The offense has found some type of a rhythm, which they did not have once last week, and kind of struggled in the first half of the game, especially in the second quarter against the Patriots last week. Wait, what's going on with Marcus Mariota? People got an update here? Let me check out the internet. So commercial break right now. Oh, wow. O-line jumping early on the tush push. Oh, yeah. Let's check out the... Dude, this was sick right here, bro. See, there's a little bit of traffic here. I thought he might get freaking four-man rush. They're double teamed right here. Bam. Gino. Not bad. And now we got the kickoff going on right now. All right. What is going on in this chat? Oh, shit. All right, here we go. Game's coming back on. Commanders fans very upset after that drive. Love to see it. Where those Commanders fans who were in the chat earlier? 1st and 10. And now a reverse to Deebo Samuel. Crosby in pursuit. And Jeremy Chin lays the wood on Deebo. It's going to be a 6-yard gain for Deebo. But Jeremy Chin just reminded this guy he's in the NFL. Whoa. And that was a helmet to helmet. I'd be surprised if the Raiders aren't flagged, especially after the replay. Oh, man, they're trying to get a flag. Okay, no, they're not going to get it, and Cliff Kingsbury's upset. 2nd and 5 now for the Commanders. No flag. Raiders could have been flagged for that. And handoff. Krosky Merritt fights and breaks free, and Krosky Merritt breaks free from the Raiders defense, and he is off to the races and gets a touchdown. The Raiders offense. That was actually McNichols, not Krosky Merritt. And this running back committee for the Commanders is doing well against the Raiders. Lost containment there. And once he broke free from a couple of tackles, it was off to the races. The safeties weren't there to be the last guy to save the play. And that's going to be a touchdown for the Commanders very quickly. Son of a bitch. So, hey, Raiders will get a chance to respond. Very deflating. Set up with the Deebo Samuel reverse run. Anthony Lynn out there is the running back coach, former Chargers head coach, running back coach of the Commanders there. And Thomas Booker, former Eagle, moved out of the way. Jeremy Chin, after delivering that big hit, and Devin White just allowed the running back to break free. You had your arms on him, and you let him break free. Not Devin White. Actually, not Devin White. It was Landon Roberts. Landon Roberts mainly letting the defender break free here, or the running back break free, allowing for that touchdown. Wow. Well, if this Raiders offense really has their groove back, you got to try to get a field goal at least with 3:30 left, and then you get the ball back at the top of the third quarter. So Dylan Lobby on the kick return here. 30-yard line. So Raiders offense back on the field quick. Silver lining is the Commanders defense on the field a lot the past 5 minutes, 6 minutes of this game. Yeah, that was the worst I've seen the defense pretty much all season. But so far this season, defense doing well. And so far in this game, I would say still most of the time, defense doing well. 30-yard line, Geno under center. I like that. And a reverse to Trey Tucker. And they're doing their own reverses like the Commanders, and a 4 to 5 yard gain there, keeping the defense on their toes, trying to replicate some of what Cliff Kingsbury is doing. Chip Kelly versus Cliff Kingsbury, very interesting offensive coordinators, to say the least, in this game. So 2nd and 6 now. No rain. Got 2 tight ends here. Handoff, and Genty fights and fights. 2nd and 6 gets a 5-yard gain. Going to be 3rd and 1. Oh, whoa. Some people in the chat are saying, bring back AP. Do we need AP, guys? Would he give us the fire and energy we need right now? Maybe not the time and clock management, but maybe the fire and energy we need right now. 3rd and 1. And you got an injury to the secondary of the Commanders, Reeves. A couple people are saying bring back AP. He's got some fans here. It's probably AP making the comment. He's heated. He's heated that we didn't get him a good enough quarterback, man. And then he was saying recently that Brady gave him tips, kind of like selling out Brady a little bit. And he also said that he thinks Brady is the one who got rid of him. But he's kind of admitting that Brady does have a competitive advantage, giving out tips as a broadcaster, and saying that Brady gave him tips himself when he was the Raiders head coach. Interesting comments from Antonio Pierce this weekend. Good thing for the Commanders. Defender Reeves able to get off the field on his own power. 3rd and 1 for the Raiders now. Very critical 3rd down. And now an adjustment for Geno, going from under center to the shotgun. And Commanders rush the line of scrimmage, and Genty is not going to get a 1st down. Raiders think he got there. I don't think he got there. 4th and inches. And just the blocking is not there. I know the Raiders want to go for it on 4th and inches. 2-minute warning right now. But I don't think you do it, man. I think the offense isn't good enough right now. Our O-line is not good enough and not executing. 4th and inches. We cannot go for it, man. They're definitely thinking about it right now. As 2-minute warning hits, Raiders probably at their own 38-yard line. You got to punt it. We just haven't been good enough. And the Raiders defense gave up 1 big play. I mean, it's not really that huge. You know, we'll see how the Seahawks are doing this year. Had a rough start against the Niners, but when you look around the league, I mean, the Raiders essentially chose what the Seahawks rejected in terms of Pete Carroll and Geno Smith. There's an argument that maybe, Geno forced his way out. I don't know how much that's true. I think they're done with him. Seattle 1-1, Raiders 1-1, going up against the Saints. I do believe the Seahawks are going to whoop the Saints. Just not a good team and organization right now. So Seattle will probably get a win today. Shout out to George Reyna. Don't like Pete picking his son to coach the worst unit on the team. Nepotism hires, very good point by George Reyna here, man. Pete Carroll's son, the offensive line coach. I mean, if you're gonna do a nepotism hire, it's got to be good, man. It's got to be good, and I think the O-line has stayed the same. And my biggest issue, though, if I had to be critical, the signing of Alex Kappa, clearly not working out. You still paid the guy $6 million at least, I believe, maybe close to $8 million, and it just looks worse than last year. You did nothing for right tackle, nothing for center and free agency. There was no investment in this offensive line. Yeah, you drafted Caleb Rogers. You picked a couple people up as tackles at O-line in the, fourth or fifth round? I would have liked to see a second-round pick, especially considering the fact that our current second-round pick, wide receiver Jack Besh, love the guy's story, but clearly not doing well his rookie year if he can't get on the football field. And against the Chargers, he had 5 snaps. So our second-round pick is pretty much just not playing, even though he's healthy. So we drafted a backup in the second round. Could have used that on O-line. 4th and 1 at the 39-yard line, and Geno Smith, QB, sneaks it. I do not think he get it? Surprising quick QB sneak by the Raiders on 4th and 1 at their own 39-yard line, and Geno Smith got it. It looked like there was a lot of havoc there, so I was a little worried that he didn't get it at first. But he made a good decision to dive at the right moment. Found a little hole. First down, 1:30 to go, and the Raiders are throwing. Geno stepping up in the pocket, gets rid of it. Pressure from his side, and the man who gave up the pressure was Alex Kappa. Big signing for the Raiders O-line. Former Buck. So I wonder who wanted the Alex Kappa signing. Former Buck. I think his name rhymes with lady. Mr. Tom Brady here. And Genty on the sideline in a 2-minute drill. Dylan Lobby, 1:20. I don't like that. No JPJ playing, even though he's healthy. Dropping back Geno, and pressure from Lobby's pass block, and Geno sacked. Bobby Wagner blitzed. Linebacker tried to pick it up himself. And this offensive line sucks. Alex Kappa fucked up again by missing Wagner on the blitz to help out the running back. Luckily, Dylan Lobby did a good job at least trying to pick that up. Kappa tried to do a double team. They got to get Alex Kappa out of there and get JPJ in. This is just, I have no dog in this fight. For the love of the team, get Kappa out and get JPJ in. Raiders doing a timeout with 40 seconds left on 3rd and 17. Can we just let the clock melt out? What are we doing here, dude? We're not going to make this first down on 3rd and 17. The O-line can't even block when it's 3rd and 5. Bro. I don't know what's going on with this whole JPJ thing. And there's so much confusion. Poor game management right here. Given the timeout, pretty much giving the Commanders a way to stop the clock before a critical 3rd down rather than keep that thing running. What the hell? 3rd and 17, ball at the 34-yard line, handoff to Dylan Lobby. And Commanders will probably use their last timeout. I would if I was them. And now there's 36 seconds left, and the Raiders are punting. You know, you really could have had the Commanders waste their timeout. You should have just taken a delay a game if you were going to just melt the clock anyway. And that way the Commanders, it would literally be the end of the half right now if they wouldn't have called that timeout. I don't know why the broadcast is even complimenting Pete Carroll on this. He made a bad time management coaching decision there. I don't think anybody would really disagree after the fact looking at this. And a punt almost blocked. And now Lane returning. No timeouts for the Commanders. But at their own 35-yard line, they'll have 27 seconds. Yeah, I don't know, man. I would like to see them run. If they want to run the clock out, I'd like to see them really run the clock out there. Now the Commanders have a shot to get a field goal and make this a 2-possession game. I mean, if they get a big passing play, 20-yarder, maybe a 20-yarder and another 5-yarder, spike it. I mean, these guys could get in field goal range, 35-yard line. Dropping back Mariota to throw, and he gets rid of it in a completion for a first down with 20 seconds to go. Luckily, they're having some trouble getting to the line of scrimmage, but they're going to clock it. Did they not give him the first down? Looks like they did not. So 3rd and 1 for the Commanders with 14 seconds. I don't know why the Raiders really have to have. I mean, if Alex Kappa was doing well, but we keep seeing these. That last drive, Alex Kappa messed up twice, and he objectively messed up twice. There's like no way to spin it. So, yeah, I thought he'd do better. I mean, I think he's got some injuries. I think you got to bench the guy. And Mariota dropping back in a face mask for Malcolm Kuntz on Mariota. It would have been a sack. Very clearly face masked him. That's going to be a first down, Commanders. Yeah, dude, second half. I mean, if Pete Carroll's really about this whole, everybody competes and whoever's the best, no matter where they're drafted, if it's previous regime, they get to start. That's really true, man. You get to start JPJ. I mean, just based on the eyeball test. I mean, I could be wrong, obviously. We'll see what happens in the second half, but I would get I don't know. I as a fan just watching this, I would get Kappa out and get JPJ in. Jordan Meredith, I mean, not too bad. No bad snaps so far. 1st and 10, 40-yard line. And Mariota's going to do a QB draw, go to the sideline. And interesting play. 4 seconds, Mariota, Dan Quinn bleeding. Mariota ran into Dan Quinn, and now the head coach of the Commanders is bloody. And that's going to give the Commanders a chip on their shoulder. Mariota is shoved out, launched into Dan Quinn. He fell on his back. And now Dan Quinn is bleeding. And looks... oh, no. It looks like a gash. Claims to be fine. And now a field goal attempt. I mean, if you want to pump up a team... shove their player into their coach. That's definitely going to pump up a team. So I'm concerned about this, man. We'll see how long the field goal attempt is. 4 seconds to go. Looks like a 56-yarder. Hopefully he misses it. Timeout by Pete Carroll. He would have missed it if he would not have called the timeout. So Pete Carroll iced the kicker, but he may have just given him an extra rep. I don't like that, man. Dude, if the Raiders don't score when they come out of the half, all hell is going to break loose, dude. They got to at least get 3. All right, so 2nd and 6. And we'll see what's happening. Matt Gay with the kick attempt at 56 yards. And he gets it on the second try. Shouldn't have fucking iced him. So 10-point lead. 20-10. Oh my God. I'm sorry, dude. I mean, we and by the way, what was the biggest issue in the past minute and a half? Pete Carroll calling the timeout on 3rd and 17 to talk about what we're going to do. Oh, we decided to try to melt the clock. Commanders call a timeout. Just like I said, with 30 seconds left, you really would rather take the delay a game if you're going to melt clock anyway, because now the Commanders have a shot to get in field goal range. Face mask penalty, which was a face mask, helps get them in field goal range. And it's a huge mistake by the Raiders head coach. You got to let that delay a game happen. You don't want to call the timeout too early when you're making your decision on 3rd and 17. I don't think it was much of a decision. The offense sucks. Probably don't want to throw it on 3rd and 17 with 30 seconds left. Yeah, man. Got a little too cocky, the Pete Carroll and Geno, after that successful drive with the touchdown to Trey Tucker. Not good. Not good management. You know what? Even though I'm blocked on Twitter by Antonio Pierce, if you're gonna have shitty clock management, then you might as well bring freaking AP back. Even though he blocked me on Twitter, bring AP back if you're gonna have bad clock management. Bring his ass back. At least he'll smoke a cigar every once in a while. You fucking kidding me? All right, so yeah, I don't know. So halftime happening right now. Panthers doing well. We'll see what happens here. We'll see if the Raiders make any changes on offense and maybe play it a little more conservative. I would say play it a little more conservative, I would say, in the second half. That's what I'd do if I was Raiders here. All right. We'll see what happens here in terms of scores around the NFL. We got a 20-6 lead by the freaking Colts. Daniel Jones. Maybe we should have signed Daniel. No, I'm just kidding. I actually I'm defensive of Geno Smith because I really don't think he's been the problem so far. I'm more upset with the coaching here, and I'm more upset with the offensive line. I think Geno Smith has kind of just done what he's been asked to do. Patriots, though, closing the gap against the Steelers. There's a little silver lining there. And then Packers still barely a 3-point lead against that tough Browns defense. By the way, the Raiders do play the Browns this year. I think they've been doing well. Mariota being praised. Smarten up. I'm watching that game after Broncos versus Chargers. Broncos been slipping a little bit, especially on offense. Looking like they might be fourth place in the AFC West. And the Chargers are red hot. So really curious about that game. Cardinals, Niners. I think the Cardinals are going to come up. I think the Niners, unfortunately, are going to fall apart here. Mac Jones, though, did surprise some people last year. And wow, what a game tomorrow. Lions versus Ravens. I think the Ravens get the dub. But what a game there. And today, Cowboys versus Bears. Caleb Williams, a lot of pressure on him. And Cowboys offense, not that bad. Not bad this year with the addition of George Pickens. So I like that. Saints, Seahawks, I mean, Spencer Rattler has actually been doing better than I thought. I haven't watched. I've only watched little recaps. I haven't watched Rattler a full game yet this year. But in terms of the numbers, I mean, he's doing much better than I thought. I'm surprised the Jets are keeping it so close against the Bucks. But against the Falcons, the Bucks kind of had it get pretty close. Really curious about Panthers though, getting that good lead against the Falcons here. All right, we'll see what's going on here. Genty picked up on the previous drive. I don't like the fact that the Raiders. I mean, that really makes me upset seeing the Raiders put Genty on the sideline during passing downs because then everybody knows that you're passing. But he did a bad job blocking last week. So you kind of have to. I mean, I blame Genty. I mean, you got to be able to pass block, and it's going to help out the Raiders if he's able to pass block and be in there on passing downs. Going to create a little more confusion for the defense to guess what they're doing. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, maybe you don't take a freaking, and this was the criticism, maybe you don't take a running back top 10 at pick 6 if you can't block. But at least we know what the draft, I mean, the whole NFL knows what draft pick the Raiders are going to do in the first round. They got to get an offensive lineman. They're getting a center or a guard in the first round next year. They have to. Even if they sign somebody, they have to. Commercial break. We have the Devontae Adams Taco Bell commercial. Well, Patriots are fighting back against the Steelers. Steelers look to be a good team this year. So, silver lining is maybe the Raiders did beat a really competitive team week 1. All right, so man, this is a long halftime, bro. This halftime is long as hell. It's not usually this long. All right, let's see if I got any clips to show. Hey, high scoring game though for a first half. 20 points in the first half for the Command. I mean, that's not good for us, but we'll see what happens. Good touchdown with Tucker. Are you kidding me? So the new running back of the freaking Boise State is putting up the similar numbers to Genty, which is now the implication is that it wasn't Genty. It was just the scheme, the O-line, and the weak conference and the coaching. So now the freaking, shit, dude. Maybe they made a mistake, dude. We'll see what happens. And I'm not saying that Genty's going to have a bad career. It's just if you don't have the O-line, there's really no point in getting him right now. I guess next year it's supposed to be good. Maybe that's why they're not using him too much this year. Take it a little bit easy, and then next year really unleash, 20 carries a game. Because he hasn't even gone 20 carries a game, right? He's only gotten like a couple, like 12. What's his game log? And people in fantasy are definitely pissed about that. Oh, so almost 20 against the Patriots. He had 19. And all right, game's loading back up. $11 carries so far, and 3.7 yards a carry. That's better than usual for the past 2 weeks. Don't if you're making bets, dude, don't do Thornton, man. Don't do Thornton if you're making bets. I see some Raiders fans going on the Thornton train, dude. Like it's not maybe towards the end of the year or like towards the last like 5 games. But I think he's just not going to get yards. He's not going to get target like catches. He's just not. He's a one-trick pony, unfortunately, right now. So would not invest in that. I mean, now I kind of understand why the Raiders wanted Amari Cooper. I mean, I think they're outside of Trey Tucker and Myers, they don't got a good wide receiver, in my opinion. Who like would be starting on another team, like in the NFL. It's a lot of guys trying to prove it, make a name. You know, it's rough. Oh my God, the Vikings with Carson Wentz. Why the hell? I literally picked up Carson Wentz in fantasy football and I did not start him. What the fuck was I thinking? So Carson Wentz, man, he is freaking whooping ass on the Vikings against the Bengals. Jake Browning for the Bengals is a disaster. The Bengals got to call Derek Carr. You remember Derek Carr said he still trains in case God wants him to play again, meaning in case he wants to play again. I mean, let's be real. And the dude was talking about how he still trains. I don't know. Bengals. Something could be happening. You never know. All right, we'll see what's going on, man. He did a good job as a broadcaster. Appreciate you, Josh Bueno, chiming in here, man. Been a Raider fan my whole life. Wonder what toll rooting for this team has done on me. Yet I can't stop hoping. First half had me hella mad. The toll of a Raiders fan equals a weekly dose of cortisol. Everybody, man, give a shout out to Josh Bueno. Freaking hilarious. That is very accurate so far. And, you know, we had a little bit of hope with the Trey Tucker touchdown. It was like, oh, is shit turning around now? Is it finally clicking? Of course fucking not. It's not clicking, you know? But we'll see what they do, man. In terms of adjustment, I think you got to make a change at O-line. I saw JPJ healthy on the sideline with his helmet and everything, just wishing he could go in. I say give the guy a shot. Well, I don't think they will. I think they're going to roll out with the same unit. Obviously, they have a game plan. The practice reps probably went to Alex Kappa this week. I did see Besh in there a little bit more, especially when they run it. But the big thing, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, I really don't like the whole Ashton Genty not involved in passing downs. Defense gave up a big play, but let them give up a big play. I think they've been pretty stout regardless. So still some hope there. Still some hope there. Let's see what's going on, man. More energy for the second half. Got to do a comeback, but at least you get the ball to start. Really a lot hinges on this first drive, unfortunately. Wish it wasn't this way, but a lot is hinging on this first drive. And now they got the broadcast talking about freaking the run game. Yeah, the O-line's doing bad, dude. Kind of with the hope that Josh Bueno is talking about here, man. I feel like you got the quarterback right. Where if you have an above average O-line, he will do a good job. Not amazing, but at least good. But with this O-line, dude, I don't think it's working out here. And now Dan Quinn's got the little mark on his nose. That's going to be viral. The refs are going to like him. Head coach of the Commanders is getting some really good reputation points here. This is not good. Here we go, man. Geno Smith with the football. This is it, man. This is a huge drive. Handoff to Genty, who makes a move. Gets a 5-yarder at least. I like that. All right, Michael Mayer, still talking about him. Some interesting things happening with him. Let's see if he's recovered fully. No Raheem Mostert so far. That guy's been injured. I thought he might be a little interesting. He's got some speed. 2nd and 4, but not yet. And play action. Gino's got pressure in his face. Gets rid of it to Bowers, but no gain. Nowhere for Gino to move there, though, man. Play action, and instantly a guy is in his face. I sound like a QB apologist, bro, but I can't in good conscience put that on Geno Smith there. I wish it was that simple, but when you do play action, and this is the second time we've seen this, you got a guy grabbing you immediately after you turn around and play action. It's never going to work. 3rd and 6. 3rd and 6, Jack Besh in the lineup. Tucker in motion. Dropping back, a 4-man rush. Gino has got pressure and sack. DJ Glaze gave up the sack. Von Miller. And now it is starting to unravel for the Raiders. The last thing you wanted was a 3-and-out when you get the football back at the start of the 3rd quarter, and you basically had 2 sacks. One was pressure in your face. You got rid of it. And the second one was Von Miller, who's not that good anymore as he used to, just beating our right tackle. But that's what happens when you got a 3rd-round pick starting at right tackle. Yeah, man. I don't know. I never thought I'd be saying this, but maybe if we would have kept Josh McDaniels for one more year, maybe the offense is moving a little bit better. This offense is done. It is cooked. And we got Chip Kelly, who's the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what they do here, man. When you got an O-line that bad, try to get rid of the football quickly, I guess, but it's a really tough position for Chip Kelly to be in, too. I mean, I don't know how you find good answers here. I don't know, man. I mean, it just seems like it seems like we can't evaluate the quarterback. We can't evaluate the coordinator. We can't evaluate the receivers to see if the receivers are just not getting good separation or not. We can't evaluate all these things because the O-line is so bad. We can't evaluate Genty. Is he the issue? Like, we can't evaluate all these things because the O-line is so bad. That's my issue. I actually was curious. Maybe the receivers are bad. Maybe Genty's a little overrated. Maybe Gino's overrated. Like, I wanted to know all these things, but I can't fairly assess this when as soon as Gino turns around, there's a guy tackling him and sacking him. It's too... You really can't say anything. But defense has been doing well. If the defense gets a stop here, you got to give them a ton of credit because this is a tough spot to be in as a defense. But they have been giving them the defense has been giving the offense some opportunities this season, so it's still definitely possible. People were so heated they would have rather gone to church than watch football. Usually we're trying to use football as a reason to maybe skip mass sometimes. But, wow. All right, so we'll see what's going on, man. Commanders football at their own 21-yard line, so good field position for the Raiders defense here. And tackled for a loss on the handoff. Landon Roberts making a play. And this defense is actually... with no money invested in the defense besides Crosby and Jeremy Chin. This defense keeps making plays. It's pretty much Crosby, Jeremy Chin, and then a bunch of really young players or one-year contract vets. So hats off to Patrick Graham, D coordinator, 2nd and 12, keeping this team in the game. Dropping back, Mariota to throw, quick completion, but only about 4 yards. Flag on the play. How do you know that the chat is all Mexican? Because it's Fresno? So holding on the Commanders offense. And 2 flags on the Commanders. And Raiders defense is set up nice. Holding on Commanders, so now it's going to be what? 2nd and 20? So Raiders defense is keeping them in it, man. Look, the Genty play in the first round might be a play for next year, which we'll see what happens, man. Team's still on the up and up. You got a young team with the Raiders, 2nd and 22. And a quick throw, but wrapped up quickly, actually broken up. Caillou Blue Kelly. I really like this guy. A cornerback who's been in the NFL for 3 years, a young dude. Was on the practice squad just last year. And Caillou Blue Kelly keeps making plays, dude. Really hope the Raiders keep this guy for the future. And that's the Pete Carroll effect, though, man. You got to give him some credit there, finding some diamonds in the rough. This guy is holding his own against Terry McLaurin. 3rd and 22. And a handoff up the middle. Commander's just going to try to get a good punt off, and the Raiders defense gets a stop. I mean, wow. When the game looked like it was over, the offense is getting bailed out with another opportunity. They got to deliver. They got to deliver. I mean, this cheap as hell defense is keeping him in every game. We need this little highly paid offensive coordinator who's the highest in the NFL, Chip Kelly, and Brady, who wants his name in the news every week. These motherfuckers need to freaking earn their checks. I mean, shit. You got to find a solution for your offensive line problem that you knew you had going into the season. Punt return, Tucker, 35-yard line. And I know you want to have playmakers on the field, but with how good Trey Tucker has been at wide receiver, I'm really not a fan of having him return punts for you. I mean, I know the Chiefs did it when Tyreek Hill was in his prime, but I'm more like, you want to keep these guys healthy for the actual offensive plays. I mean, you can find somebody else to return punts. You don't need Trey Tucker doing this, who's literally been your most productive receiver in this game so far. So linebacker blitz happened earlier. Lobby was able to sort of get in the way, but I think the big issue was Alex Kappa going on a double team on a guy who's in a completely different gap to the left of him and missing the blitzing linebacker. I mean, I think that was a huge play on that sack on that linebacker blitz. Kappa going reaching for it to help out on a double team rather than assuming that, if there's nobody near me, somebody must be coming late. I don't know. Maybe he did the right thing and somebody else is supposed to do something else. I don't know these guys' playbook, but I think there's a huge issue there. Didn't see too big. I mean, obviously on the last, yeah. I mean, offensive line was still an issue. I mean, on this last drive. I mean, I guess there's no way to spin it. All right, we'll see what happens on this drive. Commercial break. I really hope we're not going to just be sitting here talking about the offensive line after this drive. I mean, I want to see people get some time. I want to see this coordinator get creative and find a way to get the ball out of Geno Smith's hands very quickly. Some two-step drop shows. I don't know. I'm going to find something else. We don't need O-line. Um, yeah, man. Whew. I think the Raiders need a restraining order against Tom Brady. He cannot be at the facility. And I don't want to see this guy with a headset on ever again. I don't ever want to see Brady. I think he's trying to take over as coach. A lot of people said that. Like, oh, is Brady trying to learn how to coach while watching Pete Carroll, and Pete Carroll's going to retire? Game is back on and try to take over as a coach. Good job by Crosby. Raiders offense back on the field, 36-yard line for the Raiders. No backs, dropping back. Geno has time and a little panic in the pocket, scrambling to the outside and going to just throw it away and play it smart. Nobody open. And they went with the empty set formation, 5 wide receivers, had that 3 seconds, but then the pocket started collapsing after that 3 seconds. Michael Mayer out with a concussion. Will Harris, the safety for the Commanders, who did a great job on the Saints last year, out with an ankle injury. Not sure if Geno's not pulling the trigger after the picks last week. Maybe he's being a little more conservative. Or is nobody sincerely open? 2nd and 10. Got 3 wide receivers in the lineup here. And a handoff that is going to lose yards. Genty losing 4 yards with a run up the middle. I could have told you they were running the football there. It looked pretty obvious to me. Now it's 3rd and 15. It is 3rd and 15 now. I mean, I think I should have picked the Commanders' defense on my fantasy football team. Third and 12. 3rd and 12 here. Geno with time. Rolls to his right. Checks it down to the back, but incomplete. Couldn't find anybody deep. And we don't have the all 22 angle. But I wonder if the Commanders are running that too high safety look that the Chargers did last week. It really took away the deep threat of the Raiders. And Geno not able to find anybody underneath. And 4th and 12, dude. This offense sucks. This offense, like, straight up sucks. It is a bad offense. It is not good. Like, you don't want anybody on this offense on your fantasy team. You never want to hang your hat on the QB. It's objectively a bad offense at this point. Punt return and a lane for the Commanders. And they, barring a flag on the play, it might be a punt return for a touchdown. And if so, man, that is a dagger in the heart of the Raiders' chances. A flag here, though. Is that coming back? Oh, people. Oh, man. This flag might be about the Commanders. If so, it's 27-10. We'll see what happens here. Flag was on the Raiders' gunner. It is a touchdown for the Commanders. 2 bad special teams plays today. The kick return by Deebo Samuel to start the fucking game. What a great start to your freaking Sunday. Deebo Samuel runs up your ass. And then now, punt return with Lane, the young rookie. Just bad coverage by the Raiders punt team. And they got a flag. And I don't know, man. AJ Cole, you're getting paid all this money. I think you're one of the highest paid punters. Can we punt that out of bounds? Inside the 10 of the other team? There's just no way that could happen. Like, it has to be a return punt, even though you make all this money. All right. Oh, dude. This is so bad right now. Fucking bring Josh McDaniels back. Bring Josh McDaniels back. This is so bad. That is how bad this is. I would take Josh McDaniels and Jimmy Garoppolo over this right now. I would. I mean, I don't think that solves the problem, but it was the same offensive line and they had a little more time to throw. They were bad in run blocking, but they had a little more time to throw. Bro. We're gonna watch this offense. Marcus Mariota's looking like he makes $30 million a year. I mean, son of a bitch. Oh man. How do we do this, man? How do we do this to ourselves? Wow. I mean, shit. Genty's pissed. I'm pissed. I'm pissed the Raiders used a first round pick on Genty. Clearly, we need a freaking Chargers offensive line, a stacked O line with all these first rounders in order for a top 6 running back to get 4 yards a carry. So, all right, well then fuck the running back then. Get him like Pacheco in the 7th round or Krosky Merritt of the Commanders in the 7th round. And I don't know, man. Maybe Brady just wanted to sell some jerseys and they pulled the trigger on Genty in the 1st round, but clearly not the good decision. You know, I was thinking about the Chargers the other day. Harbaugh had a top 10 pick in the 1st round, his first year as head coach. Did he use it on a running back? Did he use it on a playmaker? Could he use receiver? Instead, he picked Joe Alt. Offensive line, clearly a really good call. And maybe the Raiders could have used that same patience this year. Don't leave. The game could still turn around. It is still it's only a 3-possession game. If they score, it's a 2-possession game. Do not leave. The game could still turn around. People are heated. I feel like I was getting too real about the team, and so it was making people want to leave. Because I was getting too real. I'm supposed to freaking be at least slightly fake to say, hey, you know, keep watching the stream. They can turn it around. You'd rather do yard work. No. Cody would rather do yard work. Oh, shit. I mean, honestly, I can't fake it, though. I mean, I normally, and you guys know, you've watched streams before. Normally, I'm like, hey, we still got to evaluate. We got to hold on. But, dude, I mean, when I had that moment where I was like, how do we even do this? I was just thinking, like, dude, this is so hard to watch. Like, how do we do it? It's really hard. I'm really excited about the 1 o'clock games to just watch fantasy football. Son of a bitch. All right, so kick return now. Raiders on the road, man. You gotta come away with points to just slow down this momentum of this Commanders team. They were just fire. Bro, maybe Gruden was on to something by having Mariota as the backup, huh? The flying Hawaiian. So glad I didn't buy tickets to this game. Whew, I feel bad for the Raiders fans who are there right now, dude. Oh, man. All right, here we go. 1st and 10, 19-yard line. Gino, a lot of pressure, man. A lot of pressure on the O-line. 4-man rush. Got time to throw. Gonna now scramble and get sacked. He's not getting rid of the football soon enough. I don't know if these receivers just can't get open, but he's got at least that first 3 seconds. Gino, let's check it out here on this 3-step drop. 4-man rush. The broadcast is talking about it. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. You want to get rid of the football there. Instead, nothing's open, and then you scramble to the left. All right, 18-yard line. Quick throw to Trey Tucker and a 2-yard gain, and the Raiders still have Alex Kappa in there and no JPJ. I don't like that. Clearly, whatever they decided to do in this game prior to the game has not worked. I mean, 3rd and 9, man. Wow. I just really believe this team was going to exceed expectations, and they are playing right into the expectations right now. 3rd and 9. Here we go. Zamir White in the backfield because Genty is not allowed to be there on passing downs. Dropping back. Gino, pressure, scrambles, tries to make a move and gets rid of the football. And amazingly, a first down after extending the play to Jack Besh. And Geno Smith willed that to an existence, man. If it wasn't for Geno Smith, you don't get a first down here. I now think that Geno is... I think this offensive line is so bad that Geno Smith is actually making it look a tad bit better with his ability to scramble. Josh Bueno. Oh, shit. Okay, hold on. Hand off right now. And Genty tackled for a loss of 5 yards on a run. I mean, that's pretty much a fucking sack. That is horrible to have happen when you're trying to run the football. This O-line cannot run block. If Jesus came back and played for the Raiders, we'd still find a way to lose. Raiders looking like a local losing a high school team right now. F.U. Chip, Josh Bueno coming in with some freaking fire here, and I am on board with this, dude. I don't think Jesus could freaking perform some miracles behind this O-line right now. 2nd and 13. And honestly, bad coordinate, bad strategy. Pressure, and Geno is instantly sacked on 2nd and 13 by Bobby Wagner. Is Pete Carroll helping out Bobby Wagner here? What the, bro? First down, you lose 5 yards on a run. 2nd down, you lose 5 more yards on a sack, and it was instant. Dropping back, look to your left, and then Bobby Wagner is already tackling you. And Chip Kelly's upset. Bro, this is you. Who are you mad at, Chip Kelly? 2nd and 24. The Raiders are basically giving up. They're running the ball up the middle on 3rd and 24. 3rd and 24. We got to get Kappa out. We got to get Kappa out, man. I hate to say this, but what are we doing, dude? Like, just because you gave this guy like $7 million, you're going to force him to be your starter when he's doing a bad job, when he's not healthy, and you're benching the 2nd round pick, JPJ? I mean, Pete Carroll's really fucking up here. And like they can't do shit. They're punting. 4th and 15. I don't blame Geno, though. I don't know what the hell he's supposed to do. If anything, Geno's pissed, man. He's the only reason they even had a first down on that drive. He's the only reason. This team, the team sucks. Like, they're actually making Geno look worse than he usually does. Yeah, JPJ is a healthy scratch. He's on the sideline with this fucking helmet on. I literally saw him on the field goal attempt. Bro. That was too bad. It's like... And now Chip Kelly is like complaining. The quarterback is complaining. Clearly you guys did not start the right lineup at offensive line. Clearly you knew this was going to be an issue going into this game, and now it's becoming an issue where you can't even run an offense. Like you can't get to 2nd and 8. Like it's hard to get to 2nd and 8 for this team. Like, forget 2nd and 5. Like that's not going to happen. It's just straight up not going to happen. The Raiders need to find a way when they run the football on first down to not lose 5 yards. They can't not like lose 5 yards when they run the football on first down. So, I mean, this is a big concern for the rest of the season, because it'd be one thing, you know, if you're moving down the football, maybe you got a punt or you have turnover. Like last week was turnovers. which was actually kind of fine because it's like, all right, we would have made it a 1-possession game, would have gotten some field goals if Geno hadn't thrown those picks last week. But this week, like, you just can't run. You can't run an offense. Like, there's not even a shot to even make this. This is a college game. This is basically, yeah. This is basically, Genty has familiarity with this. This is like Boise State playing their Mountain West opponents. I mean, it's not even a fair matchup. It's one's a regular team and one's just like a bunch of people who probably work part-time at Chipotle in between being a O lineman. I mean, it's crazy. It's insane. And people, yeah, and then now Devontae Adams is able to stun on us because he's balling out with the Rams. They're whooping the freaking Eagles. Now Devontae gets to freaking show off his little freaking Taco Bell shit. All right, here we go. Commanders back on offense, 37-yard line, a handoff to Krosky Merritt. And a 5-yard gain. The Commanders are moving down the field. I mean, that's really the difference on first down. Do you gain yards or lose yards handing the football off? Raiders are losing. Commanders got a 6-yard gain, 2nd and 4. Yeah. Yeah. They don't even have Jaden Daniels. Imagine if they had Jaden Daniels. We'd be getting double whooped. 2nd and 4. Play action, Mariota. Mariota is actually not too bad in a wide open Terry McLaurin. And touchdown. Obviously thought they were running the football and Mariota throws a dot. I should have started him on a fantasy football, bro. Commanders aren't even that good. They got their ass whooped by the Packers. Struggled in week 1. The Commanders are not that good. I mean, yeah, they beat the Giants, but like they struggled on offense to beat the Giants in week 1. All right, he might be short. Yeah, Commanders like Commanders aren't going to win their division. They're not even like a division leader. They're still a wild card team. And I actually like the Commanders. I like their coaches. I like Jaden Daniels. I like some of their defensive players. But they're not even like, they're not that good. Like, they're not as good as the Chargers, in my opinion. So, this is not good, man. This is really, really concerning. So, looks like it might be short. 1st and goal now. I do think Mariota is not bad. I mean, I know he's a backup, but I actually think he's one of the better backups in the NFL. And hey, look at Carson Wentz, what he's doing with the Vikings right now. Wow. 1st and goal, handoff, and the Raiders defense is trying to hold on. 2nd and goal now. Yeah. Imagine being the Patriots, man. How did they lose to the Raiders? Whew. I mean, Mariota here in the shotgun. 10 for 15, a rushing touchdown in this game already. 2nd and goal. And power option by Mariota. Hits behind the line. And shout out to Shima86. O-line didn't write Geno back. Fuck. It's pumpkin spice latte season. I'm not gay. Chip, smarten up. Yes. This is one of the best chats I've seen. It's got all the lines. Chandler Jones, I'm not gay. And we got a Mark Davis, smarten up. Shout out to Shima86. All right, 3rd and goal. I'm surprised that we even have a 3rd and goal right now. Dude, this is like, I feel like it's not even Sunday. And a handoff and a touchdown. 34-10, man. 34-10. Wow. Bro, Pete Carroll. Like what are we doing, bro? That's what happens when you have when you got your kid running the offensive line, bro. I swear to God, dude. JPJ better be in the lineup for this next drive. This is not daycare, Pete Carroll. You can watch your kid on Instagram. You don't need to watch your kid coaching this team's offensive line because clearly he's having some issues. Dude, I can't. Dude, I don't know, dude, but I am to the point, and I never get like this. I want to rip this Raiders shirt. Like it is. This is embarrassing for the organization. This is embarrassing for the fans. This is embarrassing for the minority owner, Tom Brady, who apparently deserves all the. Whenever we do well, Brady gets all the credit. But when we play like shit, nobody's talking about Brady. Fuck Tom Brady. Get him away from this football team's personnel decisions. Just because you played QB when Belichick had a kick-ass defense doesn't mean you know how to run a football team. I mean, dude. Like, I don't get why Brady gets all the credit, but then we don't get to talk about Brady when this team plays like shit. Clearly, honestly, I think these players like Trey Tucker would do well on another team. Obviously, Brock Bowers would do well on another team. I think Geno Smith would do better on any other team right now offensively. Imagine him on the Jets. I think he'd be doing a great job. And look, as a big-time Derek Carr fan, I'm trying to move past the Derek Carr era, but we're still stuck in it because we have these bad offenses. Dropping back, Geno throws it up one-on-one with Dante Thornton, and it's incomplete, broken up. Well, the Eagles are fighting back against the Rams. Really tough matchup there, man. 26-21, top of the fourth quarter now. I don't blame Geno at all. I mean, I don't know why people are blaming Geno. I think he's actually done a good job despite the issues with the O-line, and there's nothing for him to work with. And a handoff to Genty, and it's going to get a positive gain. I can't celebrate this, though, man. Good run by Genty, 15-yarder. I'm not going to clap or anything for... When you're down 24 points, I can't. I can't do it. I can't. But hopefully it helps out somebody's fantasy team or their parlay bet. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. I'm fucking pissed off. 48-yard line. 220. And handoff to Genty again. Flag on the play, though. We'll see what's happening here. Yeah, I do feel like, I mean, I think Jeremy Chin, I actually think the defense is pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't complain about anybody on defense. I mean, I know they gave up a touchdown. They gave up a touchdown after they were like on the field 90% of the game because the offense keeps going 3 and out. So I can't really blame the defense. I thought they did well in the first half. I was surprised they only gave up 20. And the offense sucks so bad where you just can't even look at the defense, in my opinion. So 1st and 15, here we go. After the false start. And a handoff to Genty for like no yards. 2nd and 15, son of a gun. And Pete Carroll, man, don't you want to go to Hawaii? What are you doing, dude? What are you doing still doing this? You really want to do this? Could be chilling in Hawaii, 74 years old. You know, should have maybe retired in Seattle. I don't know. What's going on, Pete Carroll? You really want to do this? 2nd and 14, 43-yard line. And at least the offensive line's blocking a little better. Gino gets the ball off and a big completion to Myers. 12-yarder on 2nd and 14. Going to be 3rd and 2. So with the Commanders playing a little bit lighter, Marshawn Lattimore is down and injured. So Commanders fan, man, I'd be worried about that. Lattimore, still a great corner, even in his older age. And now he looks to be down. I mean, look, when you got a bad offensive line, you gotta have some solution and try to eliminate this problem early in the game. And I feel like the coaching staff and the offensive coordinator didn't figure out some type of strategy or solution, a way to get the ball out of Gino's hands quickly. They had no solution to start the game, and it put them in this massive hole that's insurmountable at this point. Third and 2. We'll see what happens here. Could they get a first down? Hand off to Zamir White, who does not get the first down. It's going to be 4th and inches. And 4th and inches and Genty's on the sidelines. I just, like, what are we doing? Like it feels like we're punting the season. Why the fuck is Genty on the sidelines on 4th and 1? And he hasn't been on the field that much, so he's not tired. There's no injury on the injury report. 4th and 1, Gino under center. Zamir White's in the backfield. Luckily, we get it because the Commanders are playing soft defense, so we got the first down. But I understand if, like, it's pass blocking and, like, maybe it's 3rd and 10. You don't want Genty to pass block because he's clearly not good at it. I understand that, but like 4th and 1 and Genty's just not in the backfield. They're going to run a QB sneak with Gino, so it didn't matter. But you're telling the defense that we're not going to hand the football off to the running back on 4th and 1 if Genty's not in there. So it was, luckily the Commanders are playing soft, because if it was a closer game, they would have known for sure Gino was QB sneaking it. So I mean, it's just like, really, like, I think it's just a bad strategy. I think it's just a bad decisions with the Raiders here and the decisions they're making. I mean, it's like, is that really? I just don't see how that helps you. I don't get it. We'll see what happens though. So they got the first down technically, and we'll see if they could try to make this a 1-possession game somehow in the next 10 minutes. Very tough. You're going to be needing a defense to make some big stops quickly. But let's practically look at it. It's a 3-possession game, right? With all 2-point conversions. You get a touchdown here. I say you go for 2. They're probably not going to do that if they get a touchdown here, which it seems like it does seem like they're going to score a touchdown here. I will say that, because Commanders are playing so soft. You get a stop. Yeah. Maybe you get a 2. You can make this a 2-possession. It's just going to be tough. And you know what was sad about last week? We actually had home field advantage, because Commanders got a small fan base ever since the San Diego move. We actually had home field advantage last week at home, and I felt like it was squandered. And the Chip Kelly thing, man, I understand, he's got a big reputation, former head coach, but dude's been out of the NFL for a little bit. hasn't been an offensive coordinator for a NFL team in a while. Scary stuff here. We'll see what's up. The Raiders offense on the field at the Commanders 41. Play action. And getting it deep to Jacoby Myers, but incomplete, broken up. And you know what? The fact that they couldn't negotiate a contract extension with Jacoby Myers, it just, you know, I think Jacoby Myers has done well despite that, to his credit. That's going to make things a little awkward though, man. And it just puts out bad vibes among the locker room. 41-yard line, 2nd and 10. And Genty almost tackled behind the line, but fights for a couple-yard gain. Genty's this O-line's just really bad. DJ Glaze looks like he messed up his assignment there, perhaps. I mean, you got to watch the film later. But it looked like a mishap by the right tackle. When you got a guard that's not good, when you got a tackle that's not good, when you got a team that can't run the ball, you got receivers that aren't that good. Amari Cooper was almost a starter. Like, you got a lot of issues, man. Timeout by Commanders. Yeah, dude, Chip Kelly, like, it's just, you're going to make him the highest paid? And he hasn't been a coordinator in the NFL in how long? He hasn't coached in the NFL. I mean, college is different, dude. Shit, Genty's finding out that college is different. Third and 9. Now Adam Butler's questionable. Great. Dropping back, 4-man rush. Gets the ball to Trey Tucker. First down for the Raiders, but the clock continues to move, and this effort is in vain. Let's see if they can at least get some pride before they leave this game. Yeah, I don't know, man. Here we go. 1st and 10. And play action. Geno's got some time. Gets rid of the ball, and a completion to Bowers finally. Getting Bowers in the mix. We'll see how the Saints do against the Seahawks, man. I think they got a tough situation ahead of them, but if Rattler could be decent, I mean, that's a good steal for a 5th-round pick. It's because they drafted an O-lineman in the 1st round. You see in the Raiders, man, just not investing in the O-line enough. 1st and goal at the 10-yard line. And Geno gets the ball to Trey Tucker. Walk-in touchdown. Good job for Trey Tucker. But I don't know. They're going to go for 2. I mean, I think you got to go for 2 to show your team that you're trying. They're lining up for 2. Okay, yeah, because that could make it a 2-possession game. Unfortunately, dude. Unfortunately, I think Mark Davis is going to look at this and think the issue is that Brady's not involved enough. We don't got good ownership, man. We just don't. And 2-point conversion. You're running up the middle with Genty, and he does not get it. He does not get it. Shout out to Max Davis running it up the middle with Genty, the thing that hasn't worked all fucking game. You're going to try to do that on a critical 2-point conversion? Fucking sell the team, dude. I don't know if it's Chip Kelly or the O-line, but something's got to change. There's no protection for Geno. He's fighting for his life. out there. This is not what I expected this year, and I got to agree here with Max Davis. I don't think Geno has many options, man. I think I think the Raiders made a good decision at quarterback this year with the options available, and even some of the interceptions last week, two of them I didn't see as major issues. Although he did force the ball into double coverage sometimes and got away with not throwing more picks than he did last week. But you're starting to see the problems now. Like, this game is highlighting the problems that are going to exist throughout the year. No receiver who can make contested catches. No big body receiver to make contested catches. When Bowers is injured, the offense sucks. The O-line, you literally at this point need to avoid running the football on a first down. Same shit as last year, because the O-line run blocking is so bad that it's actually more of a liability to run it on first down when like 90% of the NFL runs out every first down because it makes second down easier. It's just such a liability with this team that they should just stop running the football on first down because the blocking is so bad. I would say that's the worst part of the team is the run blocking, especially on first down. So I think that's the issue with this is, like, we saw isolated issues, turnovers, right, in the first two games. Couple issues here and there, but I think this game is making us see more of a pattern, something that's existed all 3 weeks, which is inability to block, man. Silver lining, though, I do think the corners are doing better than I thought, especially with Caillou Blue-Kelly. I think the defense as a whole is doing way better than I thought it would. And I do think they have the quarterback right. So gives you some flexibility as to what to do around the team. I do think they at least got the QB right. And Genty, whenever he has had blocking, usually does get 10 yards. I mean, he's gotten some big 10-yard runs. I mean, last year, the run blocking was still an issue last year. McCaffrey with the kick return getting to the 27. But at least, the QB was a disaster last year. So at least, like, that box is slightly checked this year. Oh, wow. Browns are trying to fight back against the Packers. Low-scoring game. I am not looking forward to playing the Browns this year. 1st and 10 for the Commanders. Raiders can try to make this a 2-possession game-ish. Yeah, so if the Raiders score again, then it becomes a 2-possession game. 2nd and 9, Commanders melting clock here. And now the announcers are jerking off the Commanders, but I don't blame them. They did a good job with the backup quarterback. That'd be a disaster for a lot of teams. They stayed prepared by making sure they brought back Mariota. 2nd and 9, play action. Mariota looks to the tight end, gets him, and almost a first down. Actually, to McCaffrey, slot receiver, going to be 3rd and 4 for the Commanders. And the Commanders also were able to trade away their running back, Brian Robinson, and find some solutions in the 7th round, utilize Eckler, build a good running back committee, staying cheap there, able to get the contract with Terry McLaurin, brought in Lattimore last year, corner, he's staying. They got a solid team. Still, I believe, is just a wild card team, especially with the Eagles in the NFC East. And that Eagles game, so 3rd and 2, Mariota, quick completion for a first down. Eagles are coming back against the Rams, but still down. Gino. Oh. I think Geno Smith did utilize his mobility. I was disappointed that we haven't been running the read option more, and you got Mariota running the read option and getting a rushing touchdown, a couple 10-yard gains running the ball. I would like to see the Raiders do that with Geno. And handoff here on first down. There's a flag. The line is asked, no place to run, QB, or throw. I mean, that's really the story of the game. Matt. Exactly. Hard to blame these other players when it's just so bad up front. Illegal shift on the Commanders. That play is coming back. I mean, if you actually watch this game, no way. Like, and this is the casual fan. If you actually watch this game and paid attention, no way you could blame the Raiders defense. No fucking way you could do that. If you actually watch this, and that's why the stats sheets and all that's always deceiving. There's a reason why Mariota is only thrown for 160 yards and they got 34 points. Defense and special teams. Remember, they gave up a touchdown on special teams. One of these touchdowns is not even on the defense. And the first touchdown came off a big kick return where they're instantly in the red zone. And they just had to tap it in. It might have even been in the close to the 10-yard line. So that's 14 points that's on special teams already. So really, if you're took into account special teams, defense kind of only gave up 20 points. Unfortunately, like the offense is just that bad. And look, at least the clock's melting. Get us out of here and put us out of our misery. 3rd and 3. Commanders, 44-yard line, Raiders territory. And a handoff. First down. Fresh set of downs and the clock continues to roll. Shit. I would honestly, I would. Oh, dude, it's so bad. I would take the 2022 Raiders over this. I'd take the 2022 Raiders over this. It's so bad. And here we go. 9:13 to go. And another handoff. And if you're the defense, I mean, you give up a first down right here on this run. If you're the defense, how do you even have energy? I mean, time of possession. Let's take a look at the time of possession. If you're the defense, how do you even have the energy to be in this game? So, take a look here. Raiders actually are winning the time of possession, but they have gone 3 for 12 on third down. That's not good. Okay, 8:20, 1st and 10. And Mariota keeping the ball in the read option, tackled for a loss here. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Fuck. Bro, I mean, yeah, I think this defense is actually shit. I think they've done a good job. But yeah, man. Unfortunately, and here's the thing, Brady giving advice, where is he going to give most of the advice? You know how Brady's like, you know, in the meetings or in like calls the coaches every week. Brady's giving most of his advice on the offensive side of the football. Clearly, he's a former quarterback. Obviously, his advice is going to be on the offensive side of the football. And that is what sucks the most on this team. That is clearly the biggest issue. So what Brady is giving the most advice for is actually what's fucking us the most. So like to me, this is like Brady's issue all over it. 3rd and 10, Commanders look deep and incomplete. The defense holds them. Shout out to the Chargers. We'll see what happens against the Broncos. I'm hoping that Chargers take down the Chiefs because they won week 1. Somebody's got to take down the Chiefs. The Raiders ain't going to do it this year. So I'm hoping the Chargers take the Chiefs out for that first place. Shout out to Max Davis at this point. Just want to end the game, hopefully with no injuries. Take a long look into this offense and come up with some sort of game plays for the Bears. And we'll take a look at the Bears today, 125 Pacific against the Cowboys. With you saying, Max Davis. And remember, Brady covered the Bears, so he has some good intel on the Bears. Brady, can you keep the intel? Just keep it to yourself, because clearly the intel, it's kind of fucking the team. So let's keep the intel to yourself. Leave Chip Kelly alone. Leave Pete Carroll alone. Do not talk to Geno. We need Brady the fuck away from this team as much as possible. Because clearly he's giving tips on the offense. And he's got the scoop on the Bears because he covered their game last week. And the Raiders play the Bears in week 4, like Max Davis is saying. So punt time for the Commanders now. We'll see what happens. And wow. So if you're, shout out to the real Raiders fans. 3-possession game with less than 7 minutes to go. And we're locked in, man. We're locked in. No, we cannot start talking about the draft. No. But like Max Davis is saying, no big injuries, and that's another issue. Like we're a pretty healthy team. Like there's nobody who we're like, whoa, that guy's like a big starter and he's out this week. Like we don't have anybody like that happening. I mean, Michael Mayer got taken out, but he's still the backup tight end. I mean, I know they use him in certain packages, but yeah, there's not even that excuse. Yeah. Yeah, we need to Google best O lineman in college and just instantly draft them. Dude, the Patriots, I'm surprised we beat the Patriots. That shit gave me a little too much hope. So what's going on around the NFL? Let me see what's going on real quick. Bro. All right, so Rams still got the lead over the Eagles, but Eagles are making a comeback here. Tie game between the Jags and the Texans. And the Browns are making a little comeback against the Packers. Jordan Love, I think that guy is really overrated. I would take Geno Smith over Jordan Love, straight up. I think Jordan Love would be doing really well on the, or Geno Smith would be doing well on the Packers. Big turnover for the Packers, and 3 minutes to go. Browns look like they're going to tie this game, and it should be a PI flag. Wow. Browns look like they're sending this Packers game to overtime, and what looked like the best team in the NFL the first 2 weeks. Packers dominated the Commanders. Oh, man, that was embarrassing. Dominant in week 1 against the Lions. And now, and by the way, yeah, in case you forgot, yeah, the Raiders do play the Browns. Yeah, so that's going to be fun. I'm sure this offense will really do well against the Browns that are holding the Packers to 10 points. Son of a bitch. Here we go. Geno's back on the field. Offense is on the field. Shout out to Josh Bueno. All right, after this play, I'm going to read that. So 1st and 10, Geno, pressure. Scrambles, though, extending the play a little bit. Throws it away. Calling in sick the rest of the season to go root for Devontae and the Rams. Can you do a side piece live for Ram Devontae games, possibly? I will probably make some Rams videos once it starts heating up a little bit. I made some Jets videos last year, so I think it's only fair that I make some Rams videos. Even if it goes bad, But it does seem like a very interesting team. Good fight against the Eagles right now, winning the game. Eagles do look like they could come back, though. Appreciate you, Josh. So 6:40 to go. And completion of Trey Tucker for Geno. And I would like to see the Raiders, if you're going to do this whole, let's try to fight back. I'd like to see them play with a little more urgency. Increase the tempo. Here we go. 1st and 10. Geno, another scramble and another completion. This time to Thornton. And trying to get these receivers some reps. O-line's finally given Geno a little more time. Oh my God. 48-3 Vikings. Why did I not start Carson Wentz? Did I seriously? I thought I started him. Did I seriously forget? All right, so here we go. Geno dropping back. And an incomplete pass. Got rid of it. Please tell me. Nope, I started Aaron Rodgers instead of Carson Wentz. I had to find a new QB because I had Geno. Which, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, dude. I tried to believe. And so I freaking started Geno in fantasy week 1. It was actually good because he got 300 yards against the Patriots. Kept it against the Chargers. Shouldn't have done that. Definitely took him out before this game. 5:49, 42-yard line. Geno dropping back, and he's got some time. Gets the ball to Thornton on a drag route. Close to a first down here. Bro, yeah, I was being way too much of a Raiders fan starting Geno Smith in fantasy football. But I drafted a QB late. I never drafted QB high. Shout out to Carlos Rodriguez, one of my favorite stand-ups, guy. Check this guy out live, man. Get ready for Allegiant to be filled with opponent fans. And that is the shit that really bothers me because week 2 against the Chargers, it was all black. There was a little bit of Chargers fans, but when you saw the aerial view, it was all blacked out. And there was a lot of Raiders fans who showed up week 2. We just played like shit. And those same fans who showed up week 2, who bought those tickets, they are not going to do that again. They are not going to shell out the cash to watch the Raiders get less than 10 points. 4th and 1, handoff up the middle to Dylan Lobby on 4th and 1. The same shitty play call that was horrible in the 2-point conversion attempt. And now the Raiders have a turnover on downs. The Commanders defense is not even trying. They are playing soft. And the Raiders offense still can't even get in field goal range. Bro. Whoa. This is like a nuclear button. Like something has to change. And Ken Norton Jr., a defensive coordinator on the Commanders, former coordinator of the Raiders and former Seahawks linebacker coach, Ken Norton Jr., who's now on that Commanders sideline. So you got some interesting coaching tree. Pete Carroll's coaching tree is biting him in the ass now. And it's a big bite. It's a big bite. Whew. So, sorry to anybody who did a future, and Pete Carroll's calling a timeout. What are you doing, dude? What are you doing? It's 4:38 and Carroll's calling a timeout to keep these guys on the field when we got to get out of here. We got to go to the next game. What are we doing, dude? You're calling a timeout for pride so Geno could get a touchdown and feel better about his stat sheet? Like, what are we doing? So your son could get another crack at coaching up these O-linemen? I mean, what are we doing, bro? Let's get out of here and get healthy. I mean, on to next week. This game was over in the 3rd quarter. This game was over in the 2nd quarter. We got to go to next week. We cannot be calling timeouts, Pete Carroll. Jaden Daniels is leaving. Jaden Daniels and Debo are like walking to the locker. They're already leaving. Okay, he's talking to Terry McLaurin. He's not leaving. But it looked like he was leaving. So play action and Crosby getting a sack on Mariota on the play action. Look, we got to get real, Raiders fans. We got to get real about this team. These other people clowning us have every right to clown us right now because it is a clown show. It really is. Brady owns the team and calls the shots, and we still suck. That is huge. That is the most humiliated I've ever been as a Raiders fan. Because of that. Because of that one statement that I could say is 100% true right now. Brady owns the team, runs everything, and we still suck. Can't even rig it for us. I mean, it'd be one thing if he ran the team and we were doing well and be like, all right, I don't like Brady, but hey, all right, at least we're doing well now. 3rd and 19. Screen and a stop here by the Raiders defense. Arena. We got to find some arena football offensive linemen, something. And good thing Pete Carroll called the timeout earlier, guys, because now the offense goes back on the football field. And oh man. And you know what? If you're a beat reporter, especially part of a national organization where you don't have to kiss ass because you're not part of a local publication, grill these fools in the press conference. I'm tired of these soft ass questions about Pete Carroll looking healthy because he's 74. We need some real ass questions. What the fuck's wrong with this team? 4th and 21, and why the hell is JPJ on the sideline as a healthy scratch? And punt return for Trey Tucker, one of the few people doing well in this game. And he's slow to get up. One of the few people doing well is shaking up a little bit, but he's getting the sideline on his own power. Yeah, dude. Like I don't want to hear at the presser. Oh, so you're old. Like, how does it feel to be like old and coaching? Or like, hey, the defense has done well. Does that give you hope? Like, no. What the fuck is wrong with this offense? And shout out offense on the field right now. Quick throw to Bowers. Gets a decent gain here. And Sal. Well, with Brady running everything, I don't think Gruden's ever coming back to the Raiders with Brady running everything. Quick throw to Zamir White. And if I was Gruden, I wouldn't want to go back to the Raiders. I mean, at the end of the day, Mark Davis didn't stand by his coach, and he bent to the pressure of the commissioner, Roger Goodell, according to all the public information available. That's allegedly what happened. Geno Smith, 2nd and 5, airing it out deep, wide open Trey Tucker, and a touchdown for the Raiders. They're going to try an onside kick. Good game by Trey Tucker, man. Like I said, one of the few bright spots on the team this week. I don't know what people are saying about quarterback play, but Geno Smith has done a great job today when he's had time. Give the guy time. It's hard to run an offense when you're just instantly sacked and you can't run the football. Good touchdown, though, man. Trey Tucker, like I said, one of the few bright spots. Now the Raiders are going for 2 to make it a 10-point game. No timeouts available, though. Going to have to onside kick regardless of what happens if you're trying to be competitive. And a 2-point conversion by Brock Bowers. No, Geno has not had time. If you actually watch the game in the first 3 quarters, Geno has not had time to throw. No. Ever since the Commanders got a 34-10 lead, he's had time to throw. But when the Commanders did not put up 34 points, Geno had, when they were actually trying to play defense and not playing soft coverage, Yeah, the Gino has had no time, nothing to work with at all. Garbage time points. We'll see what happens on the onside kick. I mean, if you recover the onside kick and score it, it does make it a game, but probability of that happening is very low. And look, man, dude, like, I'm not even woke or anything like that, but I don't like people bringing up like race when talking about the quarterback and stuff. I mean, I think people need to chill out, man. He's done a good job today, and I don't know what the hell people are talking about in this chat here. Onside kick attempt here. See what happens, man. Wow, wouldn't it be a story if the Commanders gave up this lead? I mean, it's probably not going to happen, but that would be crazy. Here we go. Here's the attempt. And obviously Deebo Samuel with the recovery there. Good job for the Commanders' special teams. And see, this is what happens, man. When the Raiders lose, you got Raiders fans fighting each other in the chat. I'm sure they're fighting each other in real life. You know, that's what happens whenever you got a losing team, a team not doing well. The infighting happens with the fan base, and it's also going to happen in the organization. There's got to be some finger pointing here after this game. This isn't like the Chargers game where you're like, well, would have been closer if we would have executed here and there. You know, not as many turnovers. This is worse than the Chargers game. This is really, really bad performance here. And a handoff. So Gino did not throw a pick this week. I mean, there's a little positive, Gino. Yes. Is it still Derek Carr's fault that this team is not winning games? Are we gonna put it all on me? We putting it all on DC? Well, now we got fans of other teams talking shit. I mean, that makes sense. 2nd and 6, handoff. Hey, you know, don't sleep on Mariota. And you know what? I would go out on a limb and say, obviously Jaden Daniels is the franchise QB, but I would say Mariota, man, like if he had a full season with the Falcons, I think he would have done well. Shout out to Max Davis, man, supporting the stream, supporting his Raiders, but he says, hard to watch this shit. Hard to watch this shit show. Glad it's almost over. On to next week. Appreciate the videos, man. Always love the content. I'm out here before my blood pressure rises anymore. Shout out to Max Davis. He's got to go. Appreciate you, man. And yeah, this is definitely. I mean, I like, even if I wasn't live, I watched the full shit show, but it's definitely hard to watch. But I do like to see you how they handle the pressure, how they handle the adversity. Do also like to see which players are still going hard despite this horrible situation. So still some interesting things to watch nonetheless. Plethora of quarterbacks injured this week in the NFL. Unfortunately, the backup for this injured QB is Marcus Mariota, who did a great job today. Got to give him some credit there. Appreciate you, Max Davis, and understand the blood pressure. We'll see if this matchup next week is going to be easier with Caleb Williams and the Bears and Ben Johnson, who had an interview with the Raiders but turned down the job. 3rd and 6. Mariota to throw. Quick completion wide open, and the Raiders are going to give up another touchdown. Who started Marcus Mariota in fantasy football? You got yourself a victory this week. And the Commanders have 40 points on the Raiders. 40 points, which is still not the defense's fault. The offense lost this game 2 quarters in. 14 points was on special teams, basically. You got a tie game. between the Packers and the Browns. Rams are losing to the Eagles by a point, but they got a shot to win it with a field goal. A lot of big games around the NFL, much bigger than this game, I'll say. And 41 points. So, wow. Jags look to be beating the Texans, who are collapsing. Not as hard as Vegas, but shoot, this is honestly, this is the worst I've ever. This is the worst game we've seen in a while. Yeah. Oh man, the nail in the coffin was put in the second quarter. Whoa, man. And now you got other fan bases stunting on us in the chat, man, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. You know, if it was the Commanders in this spot, we'd be rubbing it in, right? Crosby is devastated on the sideline. But I mean, when the defense is literally not playing with a lead once in the game, it's tough. It's going to be tough. Having a lead opens up the run and opens up the play action, because when you have a lead, you just don't know what they're going to do. And yeah. In lobby with a return, 2 minutes to go. Wow. And the Rams look to be getting the game-winning field goal if they make it against the Eagles. And Pete Carroll, confused. He's got to figure it the fuck out, though. And we're Raiders fans. We don't got patience. We fire everybody every couple of years. We will have zero problem firing whoever is in charge of this BS. I mean, we fire people every week. So you got the Browns and the Rams, each attempting a field goal. So Penix is losing to the Panthers. Michael Penis Jr. So let's check out some scores of some interesting games, much more interesting than this game, around the NFL. This is ripping into the Raiders week, man. Vikings and Carson Wentz whooping ass. Jags got the lead. Colts whooped ass. Rams about to win it. Panthers getting their cheeks clapped against the freaking, or Falcons getting their cheeks clapped against the freaking Panthers. And the Browns defeat the Green Bay Packers. Flag on the play, but the Browns look to have won against the Packers. They cannot call that back with a flag. Bro, the Browns have won against the Green Bay Packers. Nobody. Woo, I feel bad for whoever put money line on the Packers, because you know those odds were super favored to the Packers. All right, and will the Rams put down the Eagles with the 44-yard attempts? Blocked. And the Eagles hold on and defeat the LA Rams. Wow. Wow. Sucks for the Rams, man. They had that game and lost it. Jordan Davis. Wow. Really, man. Wow. How do you fuck up that field goal, dude? Bro, blocked kick. LA choked. They had that shit. They had that shit. Wow. You know, if you got that many receivers though, man, can't be putting the game in the kicker's hands like that. You got to execute on offense, I think. You know, I mean, like you got Puka and you're paying Devontae. You still can't win it with a touchdown? Gino, last drive of the game, hands it off to Zamir White. So Geno, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. So technically for fantasy football, I should have started Geno Smith. He actually did well. I can't win with this team. I can't win the game, and I can't win in fantasy football with this team. Shit, bro. 2nd and 5. Here we go. And oh man. Well, big win for the Eagles and a big win for the Browns, and the Steelers hold on against the Patriots. Bucks are holding on against the Jets, and I'm interested in this Broncos-Chargers game coming up in a second. And this Rams, not Rams, the Bears. So Saints versus Seahawks, though. Could be an interesting game, too. And a handoff on 3rd and 2. If this Raiders team's going to try, I don't see why we should try. I'm going to change the channel here. I mean, this Raiders team's just not trying. 3rd and 2, and they run the football up the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and change the channel. I mean, if this team's not going to compete, I can't in good faith just continue to watch this team not try. Well, they're running the clock out. At least the clock. Okay, game's over. Game is over. Running the clock out. I mean, the Redskins are too pussy to be called the Redskins. They got to switch to Commanders. So that is a dig at them. They bent the knee for sure. Bro, I wanted the Rams to win that game. We got to have somebody in the West Coast doing well. All right, man. Game's over, and curious to see what what his explanation is for this game. Tough for him, man, to explain that. Well, guys, we're gonna sign off, man. I've been busy with other channels, so I haven't been making a post game every time for the Raiders. I haven't actually been uploading much football. But we'll see what's up, man. Big stories, we'll do them. Nothing too big has happened lately. It's all been a lot of expected stuff. I guess the Browns winning is the most unexpected thing. But you got the Cowboys pumping up their team ahead of the Bears. Raiders play the Bears next week. I will at least be live for Raiders versus Bears, so make sure you join me. Raiders versus Bears live on this channel. But peace out, guys, man. Hope you have a good one.